They were done. We literally have
we are entering Christmas.
That's it. We have just one last week. After next week, we're done. We're in December. It's crazy.
So Christmas is next month.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything.
It's not even next month. It's in 10, like in a couple of days.
Good morning to Mr. Samuel Tabensa. See something.
What do you want? See your father.
One day I want to come. I walk downstairs.
Then, Christmas.
Then I see they put a big wrapper. They wrap a nice car for me. With a ribbon on it.
But you can drive. Okay, you can drive. Yes. Me, I just want a bicycle.
All right, breakfast. They will customize the number plate. Breakfast daily.
Stop it. You're silly. But good morning to you. We are the 20th day of the month, guys. Let us know how your year has been so far, how you're feeling. Are you excited about the year ending, or are you panicking because you didn't achieve everything you set out to do? Let us know, of course, with the hashtag Breakfast Daily. I think 2018, it's been a great year. I can't complain. It's been a transformative year. I mean, I started out visiting Nigeria earlier in the year. I went to a few places. Africa. No, I met really awesome people. Right? I told you about the trip. I drove. Well, I didn't drive, but we did a road trip from Ghana to Nigeria. So from Ghana to Togo to Benin.
I have buckets for you.
To Nigeria, and it was so beautiful. Like Togo, half of the country is filled with beaches. Like it's to die for.
Wow!
I actually told myself I want to for my next birthday I want to be in Togo.
Wow!
Just just lay by the beach and have a great. I love beaches.
Just like they appear to have fun a lot.
And it's a very small country. So when you're driving, literally this entire side of the country, beaches after beaches after beaches. Benin is interesting. There's not a lot of traffic because most people use
how long did it take for you to drive through Togo?
Oh, Togo must have been like an hour and a half, 2 hours. It was not that long, actually.
Like from here to Benin.
Oh, stop it.
Oh,
even Benin. No, it was great because we didn't have any traffic. Or anything like that.
They should petition maybe the president and the electoral commission will come and join their country.
Togo is a small country.
Another country.
Maybe if Ghana hadn't added the Volta region to it, maybe it would have, would have been part of Togo. But Benin was amazing. I mean, they have a space for the motorbikes, and you see more motorbikes than actual cars on the road. So it was just a breeze. Like it was beautiful. We got to the market. I wanted to buy avocados. I wanted to buy pear, but I couldn't negotiate, and I felt so bad. Like I'm in another African country, both Togo and Benin. I can't speak French, so I couldn't communicate, right? But I still bought suya. I bought suya from Benin. I didn't negotiate, but I wanted a lot of pear.
So how did you?
Oh, we exchanged some.
Imagine I'm the one buying suya.
Money, and I'm like, I'm not gonna stress myself.
But even with the price, how are you able to identify the exact amount?
The guys at the border will change the money for you. So you have someone who's will show you around for a little bit of tip. So they talk to them, they translate for you. You get what you need, and they give them a little bit of a tip, and then you're good to go. So actually, from Accra to Togo was not great. Accra to the border was not great because we had a Nigerian plate. So every policeman stopped us. Every policeman stopped us because of the Nigerian plate. But from Togo to Benin was awesome. When we got to Lagos, I wanted to come back to Ghana.
Oh, why? Why? You not see MI.
Yeah.
You not see
just from the mainland to the island. I was like, this is the traffic. It took us like 4 hours to get from the mainland to the island, and this is just Lagos. It took us an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to Togo. So it was interesting. It was an interesting journey. You should try it.
No, I don't want to try it. It was not for nothing that a plane was invented. What do you call them? The good gentlemen, the brothers who invented the airplane. I think they did a fantastic job. They had me in mind, so it's very important that I appreciate them. So as for using a bus or a private vehicle to go all around, it's just not going to work. Anyway, guys, there's so many interesting things happening over you know, this particular week, or especially during the coming days, remember December to remember is also just around the corner. That's an event you do not want to miss. Citi TV and Citi FM, of course, would have several programs packaged for you during the Christmas period. And there's no way, absolutely no way you should miss any of these events. We shall be rolling them out pretty shortly for you. Also, coming up in this program, we shall be talking about alopecia. I hope I'm pronouncing the word right. It's a medical condition. It's alopecia.
Alopecia, yes. It's a medical condition where your autoimmune actually attacks your hair cells. So you begin to lose hair, and it's really, really terrible. I think 20% of it is hereditary. So it's terrible. But I'm glad the young woman is going to come share her story with us, inspire us. And we see where we go. But before we even get to the lifestyle segment, I wanted to talk a bit about gun violence, right? Both from the perspective of policemen attacking innocent civilians and armed robbers attacking innocent policemen. I don't know the state of gun laws in Ghana. Half of these guns, I don't even know if people get them legally, but I think it's terrible that we're killing each other for absolutely no reason, right? A couple of months ago, we said here on this platform that 7 young men were killed, right, by policemen, and the initial reports were like they were armed robbers. And then
you're referring to that Sawase incident?
Yes, that Sawase incident, right? We've now discovered that they were innocent, but why did 21 policemen unleash this level of violence?
Well, it wouldn't be the 21 policemen. Well, 21 have been interdicted, but further investigation would
determine exactly which of
who's
them.
culpable.
Yeah, thank you for that. But why would anyone want to do this to them if they didn't have any? So now we know that there was no, gun battle, because they made it look like the boys were shooting at them and they were
back. There was
so I don't get it, right? And then the policeman was also shot, I think, in the eye or something. Like, why? What is going on?
Well, story by story. As to the policeman who was shot in the eye, I was speaking to the former director of legal affairs for the CID, and then in one of our interactions, he did explain to me that sometimes it's advisable when. So what happened in that incident is that a group of armed men had blocked the road.
Wow.
And then they were. So they were, once they blocked the road, bring your phones, bring your money, they saw carnage and inflicting wounds and, taking as much as they can from, the cars that they have blocked. So once they do that, so when they did that, apparently there was a trotro driver who decided not to stop. Wow. And then they shot that trotro driver in the eye.
What?
Yeah, they shot that trotro driver in the eye because he decided not to stop.
Oh my God.
And then subsequently, the police people were informed that this is what's going on. So when the police people are coming, what they do is they do not come with a police vehicle. So they will come in regular cars.
Oh, no.
And then they will not be wearing police uniforms.
Wow, so you think they're civilians?
So you think they're civilians, which is a good thing. I think it's a fantastic strategy, because if they come with their police, it will be almost impossible to arrest them.
Is it by choice or because they lack the resources?
No, it's not about lack of resources.
Okay, it's planned.
Yes,
okay.
it's very
I thought
planned.
Because they don't have the car. Or
no,
okay.
No. So if they come in such a way, sometimes they just join the victims. So you find a policeman, an armed policeman,
and
sitting on the floor, sitting on the floor like one of the victims, and then they are ready to arrest. You understand? So in this particular incident, I don't know what went wrong. But according to the report, when the police vehicle was approaching, not even a police vehicle, a regular vehicle was approaching. And
with the policemen inside.
With the policemen inside.
Okay.
Who were wearing civilian uniforms. And then when the armed robbers saw this particular vehicle, they shot.
Panicked.
Yes, they shot straight at the, I think he was the driver also, they shot straight at least one of the policemen in the eye. And it was sad. It's sad. It gets me wondering whether they already knew he was a police officer.
But they already shot the trotro driver in the eye
because
as well.
Because the trotro driver decided not to stop. But this police vehicle was coming to join, according to what I'm getting from the reports. He decided, this police car was joining the traffic so that they also join the victims and find a way to salvage the situation.
Wow.
And this is what happened. So it presuggests to me that maybe the armed men, or at least one of the armed men, knew that this particular person was a police officer.
That's crazy. But even if you knew, the audacity to shoot at a police vehicle, I mean, what's going on in their minds?
Soon, in coming episodes, we shall be speaking about security. We shall be talking about experts in the area, because it appears that getting to the end of November, December,
people start doing all kinds of crazy things.
Criminals feel it's Christmas time for them as well, and they decide
what kind of authority will cause you to have the audacity to inflict harm on policemen who are coming to protect civilians? Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it appears they've gone out of control in these times. Initially, you would hear that maybe they're attacking civilians alone. They're attacking when they see police, they run. But this time around, they've decided to fight back. You see, and I'll try to link this to the Asawase incident.
Yeah.
When people react like this towards the police, then the police also decide to react.
Yeah.
So even if those 7 people who were shot, the Asawase incident I'm speaking of right now, even if those people who were shot did not exchange fire initially with the police, maybe, this is just a fair assumption, maybe the police were quite confident, because earlier there was a policeman who had been killed.
Yes, but I also don't think just because a policeman is killed, the police should not always use caution. So you can't assume just because a group of 5 young men attacked one of you, if you see another 5 young men standing, you have to assume things and get ahead of yourself. Right? It's one thing to defend yourself, and another thing to let your assumptions carry you away, because now we've lost 7 innocent lives that we can't take back, and probably they had no connection to the first group of people who killed that policeman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would be good, or it would be good if the police actually, at this point, those who have been interdicted, if they come out with the truth at this point, you know, because it's like, what if? I'm just using what ifs here, not in defense of the police here, but then what if, in this particular incident, they were 100% certain that these are the people.
Even if you're 100%, police can't take the laws into their hands. I mean, you're a lawyer. Understand. Even if I'm 100% certain someone inflicted harm on me, when I see them,
getting the point I'm making.
Okay.
I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not defending the police.
Okay.
I'm just speaking to the situation where maybe when the police saw them, and then maybe after interacting with them or using their own ways of confirming, they were 100% certain to them that these are the people, or some of these people committed the incident, and then they decided to react. A policeman will tell you that the armed robber is a snake. If you can catch him, bring him. This is a common term in police language. What they're trying to say is that they are advising maybe that you deal with a snake. Is that if you can catch him and bring him to me, I'll arrest him. Or if you bring him to me, I'll arrest him. So they are saying that when it gets to them, their job is to arrest, so they will arrest. But then if you can deal with him, find a way to deal with him, because a snake can slip away.
But is that legal?
If it's in their graph. No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's a common language among some police people. But that notwithstanding, still your point is right. Even if they were murderers, it was 100% confirmed. The way is to use the normal procedure, the normal criminal procedure, which is to arrest, send to the court for further prosecution. The policeman is not a judge. The policeman is not a jury. The policeman is not executioner properly so-called. So that in itself was wrong, even if they were those who were culpable. That's what I'm saying.
It's crazy. I mean, it breaks my heart. I think this morning I heard on CBS that some policemen opened fire at a car because the family didn't have 50 pesos. I mean, they were looking for
a total of 50 pesos.
They were looking. It's not like they didn't even have the money. They were looking for the coins, but they assumed they were trying to get away, and there were kids in the car. And I'm like, 50 pesos? Is that enough reason to open fire? I mean, seriously, even if it was 500 cities, 5,000 cities, this is human lives. Couldn't you have just approached them, right? So how do we evaluate when to shoot at someone? It's different if, like the example we started with, armed robbers have captured some cars, they've kidnapped people, they've shot at a truck driver. then you can come in and like, okay, at this point, we can negotiate. Perhaps we have to defend the innocent civilians. But if you see a group of young boys hanging out in the Zongo and you assume that, okay, because of the way they look or the way they are dressed or where they live, I can do whatever I want to them and people will actually believe whatever story I tell. Now, you shouldn't even be a policeman because you're not even protecting people. You're just trying to kill people and get away with it.
Yeah.
Right? If someone is trying to pay for toll and they don't have, they're looking for the money, how do you justify shooting at them? Right? And at what point do we say enough is enough? We need to retrain these guys. And it's not only unique to the policeman, armed robbers as well. What gives you the audacity to hurt someone who has dedicated his entire life to protect the rest of us? It's a very vulnerable job to take, to actually choose to protect people, to put yourself in harm's way for strangers you don't know anywhere, strangers who won't appreciate you, strangers who probably insult you, right? And for someone to kill you in the process or damage you for life, I don't get it. And I think we need a national dialogue on gun violence, right? We need to stop. There's not everything requires a reaction. You shouldn't react to everything. If you're going to react, don't react with violence. There are other ways to address this issue. The policeman could have gone to the car, figure out what's going on. Why aren't you guys paying your toll? Address it in a way that doesn't have to result in people getting gunshot wounds.
There was a whole media campaign. The police are your friends. We could see billboards all around. The police are your friends. The police are your friends. But that might not be the situation right now. And the police should also not use the justification that they're also being attacked, they're being killed in recent times, so they also do everything to protect themselves. When you do that, then you're actually losing focus. You're losing sight of the dates or the tenets of your particular profession. So it's important that the police will need to calm down. A form of retraining must not or should not always only be in the way of we bring all the policemen back into a classroom, we talk to them, this sort of thing, this sort of indictment on the police, the 21 officers who have been interdicted. These people, once they're going through the process and other police people see exactly what's going on, gradually some would also change. So it's also important that these processes, and I also like to caution or tell the people of Asawase that the fact that 21 have been indicted does not necessarily mean all the 21 will be prosecuted
or even if they're guilty. They may not all be guilty.
So the process has just begun. As for calls for the full report to be published, I'm not certain whether that is the right way to go.
Why?
For the sake of national security, I'm not certain whether that's the right way to go at this point, because depending on what's contained in a report, it might infuriate further those who already are aggrieved by what happened.
Yeah.
So the fact that 21 people have been cited for this, 21 people will be investigated for this particular offense, these 21 people might even lead evidence to the arrest of other people who may be involved that may not be mentioned in the 21. But let's allow and trust the process.
I must say that I'm very proud that the people who investigated this particular situation did the right thing. Right? Because sometimes when you hear of these things, you're thinking they'll cover up, they'll protect each other, and we won't find anything, especially if you're not fortunate enough to be in a certain neighborhood. Right? So if this had happened at Airport Residential or all these other places, maybe people would take it seriously. But in low-income communities, people tend to feel as though no one has their interest at heart, right? Nobody cares, right? So for this to happen, I think it's a big win for our society, for our democracy, for our humanity, to say that we are all citizens of this country. If anyone is wronged, the authorities will do the right thing and get them justice. So I was really relieved when I heard that they've done their investigations and these young men were not armed robbers. I think it will bring the family some sort of peace, that the world is aware that their children were not armed robbers.
And also, once this is done and it's indeed confirmed that they were not armed robbers, some form of compensation, even though, it cannot bring back
your
the lives of those who were lost.
And they were so young. I mean, they had their whole future ahead of them. So yes, innocent until proven guilty. We want to hear the perspective of the policeman, but we also need to teach them a lesson. We need to use them as an example to deter other policemen from thinking just because you have a gun, you can do whatever you want, right? And this is not just unique to Ghana. All across the world, some people in the police forces think that just because they have a gun and they have a uniform, they can do whatever they want to a certain category of people, and no one will do anything about it, right? And it's about time that we held all of them accountable. You are there to protect people, not kill them and get away with it because you're a policeman and you can make up stories.
Well, it's important, just like you mentioned. Right in front of me at La Paz, so a trotro driver had parked at the wrong place and was letting people into the car. And the policeman stopped him that he should move or he should park the car or something of the sort. And then the mate is like, opesa.
What?
Car no car pare, which means in English that you like that too much, you police people like that too much, if you like chew the car. So when he said that, then the policeman walked to him and he's like, what do you say in tree? Like, what's it then? And then the mate was quiet. Then the policeman raises his hand. That was the first slap.
What?
First slap, and it's like, car, yere. Car, yere. Second slap. That day, right in front of me, I don't think I'd seen more punches towards one person than, I mean, there was so much violence happening right in front of me. And it was right in front of the La Paz police station.
And no one did anything.
No one did anything, to the extent that after beating the mate for like 5 to 10 minutes, he dragged the mate to the police station and locked him up. For
what?
For saying, say, car no pare.
But is that illegal? Is it illegal to do that?
It's provocation. Provocation has its legal implications.
But does that warrant abuse?
It does not warrant abuse in any way. Nothing of that sort warrants abuse. Even if someone has gone to steal, has gone to commit even a more grievous offense, if the person is not resisting arrest, you shouldn't do that. What
kinds of people do we
admit in our police forces? If you look at, I think, Section 6 of Act 30, they said what the policeman has to do for an arrest is actually touch. The word used there is touch. Actually touch the accused. You understand? Or the suspect.
So not punch,
no,
beat.
No. So once he touches you, he has arrested you more or less. So it's only when the person maybe tries to resist arrest, then use reasonable force necessary to restrain the person. That's what the law says.
Do you think all policemen are aware of these rules and regulations and guidelines?
I strongly doubt it. I strongly doubt it.
Are they like periodically tested to ensure that
they know testing,
what they're supposed to do?
The last time I spoke to a police officer, whether there's a constant psych evaluation, he said no. We are too many. How can they test us all at the time? And I asked them, okay, so when you are going through your police training, is there even a drug test?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think he said he responded in the affirmative. Then I'm like, okay, so post that police training period, up to about 20 years or so that you have been in the force, have you been tested again for usage of drugs or anything? He says no. Wow. So it's a problem. It's a problem that really needs to be looked at. How we raise our police people in this country. They are the security forces in the country, or internal security.
They have our lives in their hands, right? And we need to train them well, give them all the resources they need. Right? Ignorance is bliss. So if you're ignorant, and especially if you're from a vigilante group or something, and someone just knock you in, you're just going to do what you know.
My life is in God's hands. Not happy too. not even as happy too. Anyway, so
what I need is
to the IGP.
If you and I get in trouble right now, we'll be looking to them to protect us, or you won't.
I'll call the politicians. They have power.
You're silly. I'll wait for the policeman to protect me. So I beg you guys, do the right thing, okay? Because our lives, we are relying on you for our safety.
And as I'm saying a big good morning to IGP David Asante-Apietu, he also escaped conviction.
Yeah.
Yes, he wanted to lock him for contempt, but Godfred Dame, who is the Deputy Attorney General, has spoken on his behalf, and that particular conviction has been set aside.
Interesting.
So, interesting times.
He must be very happy this morning.
Who, me or him?
No, the IGP.
The IGP. Oh, I for some reason I felt he was not even concerned.
Really?
I thought he'd not even think it would actually get to the point where he would actually be sentenced.
It could be a front.
Well,
because
he wasn't even caught. According to the reports in the media, he wasn't even showing up. Anyway, power is there. Power.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's how we are doing this. Remember to send your messages with the hashtag Breakfast Daily or the WhatsApp line
0550-585-832. News review is next. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
For regular news checks as they unfold. 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more.
And that's all for 2020 news on Citi TV. All the news in 20 minutes.
Okay, welcome back. It's time for the news review segment for today. Remember to join us with the hashtag Breakfast Daily on all social media platforms, of course. And WhatsApp line
0550-585-832. Now we'll start with the news review, starting with the Daily Graphic. The Daily Graphic says here, interdict 21 policemen. Government directs police service over killing at Mansung Kwanta. That story is on page 3. IGP escapes contempt conviction. That's what you were talking about earlier. That's Mr. David Asantia Pietu. That story is on page 23. And government engages cocoa farmers to strengthen ties. Also on page 23 of the Ghanaian Times. And finally, government releases 2 billion Ghana cedis to pay contractors. That story is on page 16. I'm sure they are very happy about that.
It's coming shortly, a few days or 3 days after the former president, John Dramani Mahama, accused this current government of
not paying the contractors.
Of not paying contractors because they tagged them as NDC contractors, and hence the contractors are unable to pay the banks, which led to the collapse of the banks.
Wow.
And this same NPP government was harsh on the banks and decided to close down the banks, more or less. So it's been released about 2 billion Ghana cedis for the payment of contractors. And I think this is in response to an aspirant who says he's a citizen as well.
Not a spectator.
Not a spectator. The Ghanaian Times, killing of 7 alleged armed robbers. Interdict 21 police personnel, government orders, police administration. The full story is on page 15. And there's a beautiful picture here of the man who just escaped conviction or who just escaped sentence. Mr. Asantia Pietu, the IGP of the Republic of Ghana. Also, IGP contempt case, court sets aside conviction. And finally, TUC says government must move away from financing National Cathedral. The TUC boss, Dr. Yao Anthony Ba, is on the front page of the Ghanaian Times.
Okay, now let's take a look at the Business and Financial Times. Revised VAT regime not business friendly. That's coming from the PwC. So it looks as though our VAT rates and the likes are not business friendly according to PwC, and that's PricewaterhouseCoopers. That story is on page 2. Cashew processors target 80,000 metric tons in 5 years. That's amazing. We've not really tapped into the potential of our cashew industry, so I'm excited about that. Property owners to prove source of wealth. It's coming from the finance minister, and that story is also on page 2 of the Business and Financial Times.
That will definitely be a running story because it will be difficult to tell For instance, Honorable Mesa to prove the source of his wealth.
Oh, he can. He can prove it.
That would be very.
He can just submit his.
That would be very intrusive into his financial administration. Anyway, today.
Application of the tax laws.
That's
we'll
it.
get to that. We'll get to that. Today newspaper says another scandal at Metromas, 4 senior staff fingered. And also another story on page 2, MC raps youth. And finally, Mahama 2020 declared set at Trade Fair Center. Well, it appeared largely so. The full story is on page 3 this morning of the Today newspaper.
People were really excited to see him. I mean, the delegates.
I would dare to
really
say that I think he got
see.
more fans than former President Jerry John Rawlings.
Oh yeah, but he's new generation, so maybe that's.
You don't know the fans former President Rawlings used to have it.
Really?
Hey! Anyway, now
let's take a look at the custodian. The custodian says here, 7 killed Asawasi youth, not armed robbers. That story is on page 2. Majority leader queries lavish MPP NDC internal polls. That's, of course, Oseche Mensah Bonsu. That story is on page 3. NEIP to support more businesses in 2019. That's the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program. And that's coming from the CEO, John Kuma. That story is on page 2. Sojaman blessed with Volta Lake Timber Project. That's coming from Dr. Achia Dakwa. That story is on page 2. Now, finally, this is an interesting picture here. 2020 battle lines drawn. So on the left side of the paper, we have Mr. Samuel Ofosuampo for NDC National Chairman versus Mr. Freddie Wasimewu Blay, MPP National Chairman. We also have Mr. Johnson Insiedun Ketia, NDC National General Secretary. Of course, coming up with Mr. John Boydu, NPP General Secretary. And finally, Mr. Joshua Amidu Akamba, NDC National Organizer versus Mr. Samuel Oku, MPP National Organizer. So it's going to be an interesting election.
Very interesting. We look forward to that particular period. Now, straight to the Finder Sports. Madrid to ditch Bale Benzema and sign a striker in January. Well, page 11 has that story. Bale was purchased for such a huge amount. I don't think they should ditch him just yet. But Benzema, maybe he should go. Now, FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, Ghana, New Zealand to battle for top spot. They shall be playing tonight, I think about 8 p.m. or so. So let's all support our Under-17 women. They've been playing extremely well so far. Kotoko, right to CAF over Confederation Cup uncertainty. Page 2 has that full story. And finally, Queen's Eye early qualification into semis. Page 11 has that story.
Okay, now let's take a look at the new proceeding guide. Step aside from Mahama, Adekoko appeals to flag bearer contenders. Story on page 10. Let's achieve beyond aid together. Nana Otuo, or that story, the 2 is saying that the second.
Okay.
Nana
Otuo is the second, yeah.
So you never say the 2.
No, you don't say the 2.
Okay. Ofosuampo for once NPP vows to win power for NDC. That story is on pages 3 and 10. McDan tops again as Businessman of the Year. Congratulations to him. Allegedly in Amanda. Seriously? We just finished talking about, you know,
as long as he wasn't brutalized. I think.
No, but why are you caging someone?
No, I'm sure it's
jail,
not caged.
Okay.
But I'm sure lawyer Mesa would agree
caged.
that.
So I was thinking
these things can be criminal sometimes.
They took some cage and they stuffed him in.
Like
that's terrible.
Now let's take a look at the citynewsroom.com. Citynewsroom.com. We have some online stories here which says Ghanaian diplomat ambassador Agri Orleans dies aged 81.
Aww.
May his soul rest in perfect peace. Now we'll resolve BOG Communication Ministry impasse over Momo monitoring. Is coming from the Finance Minister, Ken Oforiatta. We shall be taking a look at that story shortly. And also interdicting police officers over Zongo youth killing not enough. Muntaka, he's the Member of Parliament for the Asawasi area. And finally but one. Volta candidates fairly represented among NDC leadership. Adekoka said this yesterday on Breakfast Daily. And well, I think that's the final story we have here for you today. So we'll just introduce our guest. We have been joined by lawyer Andrew Mensah. He's the Honorable Member of Parliament for 2nd D. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here. It's been a while.
Yeah, what have you been up to? We haven't seen you in a while. Really?
Yeah.
No, you've been very busy to me.
Should we release the main reason? Anyway, now just briefly before we go on our first story, what do you make of the elections of the NDC and those who have been elected so far?
Well, I guess congratulations is in order. Before then, let me say good morning to our church viewers this morning.
You want to say hi to your constituents?
Especially
my constituents.
Do that.
Yeah, congratulations to the persons who were elected to, as it were, steer the affairs of the NDC for the next 4 years. Elections are always a tough battle, but I guess that coming out successfully clearly demonstrates their pedigree within the party. The only, sticking point for me is the treatment that was meted out to my very good friend Edward Asare. Because it could either be only deliberate or sheer incompetence on the part of the persons who manage their elections.
His name not being on there.
Absolutely. I mean, it's completely unacceptable. I haven't heard this before, ever. That a contestant in an election has his picture on there, but his name is changed, But beyond that, I think that they're going to try their best. You can see their eagerness to want to come to power. I hear they say they want to go back to the Flagstaff House. As far as I'm concerned, the Flagstaff House is a museum within the seat of government, which is the Jubilee House. So if they're in a hurry to go back to the Flagstaff House to go to a museum, what has that got to do with me? We are focused on remaining in power to execute the mandate that the people of Ghana gave us. We acknowledge that there's been challenges over the past 23 months. But clearly, if you do a comparison between the two administrations that we've seen, the NDC over 8 years and MPP over 23 months, the value definitely cannot be the same.
Okay.
The signs are clearly on the wall that the economic mess that it plunged us into, this government has worked hard to come out of that, such that we are almost at the verge of exiting the IMF program.
But what are your thoughts on Osechi Mensah-Bonsu's comments about expenses?
Lavish spending.
Yeah, it's
because I was at the MPP Congress and it was mad.
Well, I think it's a conversation that we need to have, and the leader of the majority has been consistent in that call. He thinks that the increasing monetization of our politics is not the best. And it's a call that I agree with entirely, because it can get really expensive, to engage in political activity. Question is, are you then intended to recoup it, or you just have to do it because of the love for your nation and your desire to serve? I believe that for many people, just do it because they have to do it. But for some others, clearly it's an investment that they intend to recoup. And if that is what public service is tending to be, then really we need to sit back and reflect. As a people, as electorate, who necessarily, in some instances, see politicians as rich people and ought to fund, if you like, some of their needs. And it all is informed by the generality of the majority of our people, their circumstances. And so if they see you to be in some office, they think that you have money and necessarily ought to be able to meet some of their needs. And of course, your salary cannot sustain it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And
now,
so,
I want us to move on to our first story. Thank you very much for those initial comments concerning the NDC elections and statements that have come therefrom. Now, I must say here that shortly we shall be joined by Felix Ofosu-Kwakye. He is the former Deputy Communications Minister under the previous NDC administration, or just ended NDC administration.
Yeah.
So we'll start with our first story.
Yes, the first story I'm reading from citynewsroom.com. It says here, 21 police officers to be interdicted over Asawase Zongo youth killing. Some 21 police personnel are to be interdicted and subjected to a formal criminal investigation upon the recommendation of government for their alleged role in killing of 7 Zongo youth at Manson Kwanta in the Ashanti region on July 17, 2018. Now, we heard of this story a couple of months back. The policeman killed 7 men. They were claiming that the seven young men were armed robbers. People in the community said no, they weren't. You know, so now we've heard the news that they are not. Right. So, what's the way forward, and how do we prevent this from happening again?
Well, I think the way forward is what government has communicated through the statement that was issued by the Information Minister. Clearly, nobody is being shielded. You know, government committed to conduct a thorough investigation into the allegations. That has been done with the setting up of a 7-member committee to, as it were, investigate the issues. But that clearly cannot constitute a criminal investigation. And so, having found the persons not to be armed robbers, and definitely making some fun. And I must admit, I haven't seen a copy of the report.
Okay.
So I do not know the recommendations of the committee. It's only the government statement that I've seen. But I think that clearly you can deduce what the committee recommended from the statement that has been issued by government. That look, these are persons who exercised undue force, unreasonable force, in that ultimately led to the death of these innocent men. Clearly were not armed robbers from the investigations. And so a formal criminal investigation should be conducted, which can be the basis for criminal prosecution. And so I think is a step in the right direction. The objective really is to send a clear message to certain elements within the police and security institutions that, look, you ought to operate within the parameters of the rules of engagement. You cannot take the law into your own hands and do anything as you please. Your duty is to protect the citizens whose taxes are used to pay you. So why go out of your way to mete out such brute force that leads to the killing of people? It's completely unacceptable in any civilized society. And yes, there are fine gentlemen within the police service, I agree. But, you know, some elements clearly tarnish the image and reputation of the police. And when those incidents come up, when such persons are identified, I mean, we ought not mince words at all, and no favor should be visited upon them. Full application of the law should be meted out, and sanctions necessarily ought to follow.
Okay. Now, what do you make of the statement by the Member of Parliament for the area, Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak, who says that, one, the interdiction of these 21 gentlemen is not enough, and also he goes on to say that
in itself is obvious from the statement. That government is not ending there. Criminal investigation is going to be conducted, and the persons are going to be prosecuted. So to suggest that government has ended by the interdiction of the 21 persons is not supported by the statement that was issued. And I heard him say that some compensation should be paid to the families involved. Of course, that's a matter of course. You know, under the Civil Liability Act, if a public officer, and these guys are employees of the state is vicariously liable for their actions. And so, even if government does not engage, and the statement said that the families are going to be engaged for some discussions to be held in that regard. If government does not do it, they have every right to engage counsel to, you know, pursue whatever.
Okay. He's also asked for the report. He's also asked for the report to be published. What do you make of that as well?
I don't know to what purpose that will serve. In a situation where we are all heading for the right to information, to the extent that that information will not be injurious to the state, I don't think it's a bad call, really. I mean, I do not, like I said, I haven't seen the report, and the government officials who've seen it deemed it at this time to issue a statement of government's position on what the recommendations are. And if, as a member of parliament, he thinks that he wants a copy of the report, I'm sure he can take steps to procure one. I don't know whether it's the appropriate thing to do to publish in what forum the report. So, well, it's not a position that I have a view on. I mean, whether a decision is taken to publish it or not, for me, it's not the issue. The issue really is whether government is taking steps to bring the perpetrators to book, and clearly, that is what government.
How do we ensure that this doesn't happen again? Because every other week or month we're hearing of policemen, abusing someone, slapping someone, hitting someone. Earlier we were talking about a policeman opening fire over 50 pesos. Right? So, what exactly is going on? Are they being trained well? Are they seeing psychologists to ensure that they are fine? Some of them, not all of them, but are we giving them all the resources they need to ensure that they are their best selves when they get out there?
Of course. I mean, the evidence clearly shows that not much is being done in that regard. I do not know, apart from the regular promotion exams that they attend, whether, of course, I mean, all the institutions, the security services, provide some training, to their personnel during the course of their work time. But I don't know whether that is sufficient to ensure that, they operate within the rules. But I guess that the sanctions are part of the deterring things that can be done to ensure that people stay within the rules.
But how do we put in place preventative?
Appropriate training ought to be put in place if they are not already in place. And like I said, I cannot, profess to be knowledgeable in the operations of the Ghana police. It's not an area that I've really focused much attention on. But if there's some lack in their training, I guess that it behoves on government to make the requisite arrangements to ensure that these persons who are engaged to protect us are adequately trained to carry out their functions.
Okay. So we have been joined by Philip Kwachu-Ofosu. He is the former Deputy Communications Minister. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Daily once again.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm okay.
I see that you voted.
Oh, yes, I did.
How was your experience?
Oh, it was okay. It was a hectic session. It was a lengthy session, but it was worth every bit of the wait. For me, I think thoroughness and fairness and credibility trumped the need for speed, even though one would have to agree that more can be done going forward to hasten the process so we do not go through all that lengthy wait and what have you. But it was okay. I mean, we now have in place a National Executive Committee poised to work to advance the cause of the party.
Fantastic. Now, I want us to jump straight to an issue in almost every paper today on the killing of the gentlemen, the 7 young men in the Asawasi area, and currently 21 people have been interdicted by, or there's been recommendation for their interdiction.
21 policemen.
21 policemen.
Well, let me begin by saying that it is refreshing that along with some closure is being achieved in this particular matter. I do hope that due process is followed and that the states would be willing to go the full hog and not just engage in some window dressing to appease angry members of that particular community and the Ghanaian public at large, only to let the matter die a natural death. Because on many, many occasions, we've had incidents like this where similar pronouncements have been made. A few arrests have been made here and there, and that then becomes the end of the matter. Nobody really follows it to its logical conclusion. I do hope that an exception is created in this particular matter. But for me, the larger worry has to do with a tendency by the members of our security forces, I mean, despite the stressful conditions under which they work and all that, to overreach and overstep their boundaries. I, for some time, have been quite worried about the way that we go about enforcing law and order in this country, and the way that our entire criminal justice system works, and the way that we treat persons accused of crime. It is not the first time that the police have been involved in a shootout like this. Often, people are classified as armed robbers, and they are gunned down in broad daylight. The pictures are splashed on the front pages of newspapers. And there's nobody to speak on behalf of these people. There's no evidence to suggest that they were indeed armed robbers, or that they were engaged in any unlawful activity, or even if they were engaged in any unlawful activity, whether or not that level of force was required in subduing them. So it has happened a number of times. If you look at the way that we treat even people accused of pickpocketing, I mean, you find them with swollen faces. That means that a few slaps would have been meted out to them, and they will be paraded before the cameras under a so-called identification parade, completely humiliated and embarrassed in front of the whole world, even before they are given an opportunity to answer for the charges that have been placed on them. I mean, if you look at practices elsewhere, for instance, in Germany, people accused of the most despicable crimes, even they are treated with some level of dignity and respect. They don't mention their names. Even when they are arraigned before court, they don't indicate their names up until a certain point in the process. When they appear on television, their faces are covered so that they are not seen until the state establishes a clear case against such people. Recently, there was a gentleman accused of infecting about 100 people or so with HIV/AIDS. And I was amazed to find that they would not disclose his name, they won't show his face, even though he was supposed to be standing trial. And there is a man accused of killing 100 people. And yet he was being accorded courtesies, his dignity was being preserved and all that. But here, a pickpocket can be arrested. As to whether or not even the accusation is true is another matter. And subjected to all manner of inhumane treatment, even before he has had an opportunity to answer for the charges. If you are lucky, you will get access to a lawyer. If you are not lucky, you will languish in police custody over and above the 48-hour requirement and what have you. So there's a lot wrong with our law enforcement and criminal justice system. I think that suspects ought to be treated with greater respect than we are doing at the moment. I appreciate that sometimes the job is risky. I mean, the job of a policeman or executive official is not child's play. They are exposed to all manner of dangers. Sometimes frustration can set in. Even the poor conditions of service and what have you can create a sense of a siege mentality. And you have situations that once in a while, a policeman is ambushed and murdered, as was the case with I think one of the commanders in Ashanti or somewhere.
And even recently, another one got shot in the eye.
Absolutely, absolutely. So these are dangers and hazards that come with the occupation. But that said, citizens must be treated with respect. Life and property must be preserved at all times. It is only in exceptional circumstances where the situation demands that a certain level of force is used that it is applied. But it does appear to me that on the flimsiest of premises, they just open fire only because some people are branded armed robbers and what have you. And the outcome of this investigation would show.
Is that because we are not training them well or giving them the right resources?
I think that a number of things can be blamed. You know, beyond training is for me the need to establish clear rules of engagement and perhaps review or modify the operational procedures so that they are clear in their minds what is expected. I mean, the last time there was the story of a supposed notorious armed robber somewhere around Pong Katamanso. The police stormed his house, gunned him down. He was accused previously of having murdered 1 or 2 people. But for me, it is not sufficient grounds to execute the person. It does appear to me that what we engage in is execution rather than apprehension of suspects. And when Operation Vanguard, the anti-Galamsey operation began, there were reports of similar extrajudicial killings. People were found around Galamsey pits and were attacked because they were suspected to be engaging in Galamsey. I think that we need to do something about it because all of us can fall prey. I mean, imagine walking on the streets, somebody shouts thief, you know nothing about it, and before long, you are in the grips of police officers who are assaulting you and all that. They wouldn't allow you to say anything. You don't have access to it. So it is a danger that all of us are exposed to. I mean, the story yesterday about the shooting of a woman over 50 pesos because she refused to pay tolls of 50 pesos. Why would you open fire on her? What crime would merit that kind of application of force? So this matter, for me, should provide an opportunity for us to carry out a comprehensive review of the way we approach crime in this country. Exactly. And if it is a case that we need further training, we do so and establish the clear lines. Also, I think that the hierarchy of the security agencies ought to be enforcing discipline in a more stringent manner.
How?
What I mean is that when these things happen, they should not cover up. And I think that it happens most of the time in the military. Often we hear that they subject people to abuse, and there's no form of accountability whatsoever. You see, the uniform is not to be feared. The uniform is to be respected.
I remember with the military, a similar thing happened around, was it around the castle area where a man and a woman were walking? I don't know.
Exactly. They were allegedly defecating or something, and then they just pounced on them.
And not with the defecation, a man and a woman, they were forced to sleep with each other.
Yes, there was a video.
And the soldiers recorded it and it went viral.
So their rights are abused. I mean, the rights of citizens are abused with reckless abandon. And I think that we need to demand greater accountability. I mean, if you offend the law and you happen to be a security official, you should go through the processes so that you are punished to serve as a deterrent to others. So I think it goes beyond just training. We need to take a comprehensive look at the whole gamut of laws relating to the way that
take a final comment.
One of the instances where I would entirely agree with my very good friend Felix on these matters, because it transcends politics. I mean, these are issues that have happened, during several regimes and governments, and they're completely unacceptable. And we as a people should unanimously demand from our security agencies, persons who we entrust our protection into, to do what is right. That's just it.
Fantastic. Anyway, maybe such a committee needs to be set up to investigate the issue about police beating up journalists. Some happen, especially the one that happened in front of the police headquarters, and absolutely nothing has been done about it.
If I may, I disagree with this committee approach. Look, when somebody does something that it is straightforward, just go ahead and deal with the person. Why do you need a committee to look into anything? The facts are clear. You see that somebody has been assaulted, and there's evidence. The person goes to the hospital, is given a form indicating exactly what is wrong with him, and you know who did it. Just hold the person accountable. You don't need to belabor the point. You see, it does appear that we do these things to provide a smooth screen behind which the culprits can be whitewashed and the matter swept under the carpet, rather than resolving it. I think that approach does not help, and it's creating a culture of impunity amongst it. So that's why I said that the uniform is not to be feared; it is to be respected. When the policeman
it also begs the question: if the committee was set up by government, then I think it's a problem. The question of interference comes inside, and the question of why the IGP himself could not do this, but government had to set up a committee.
You mean in this instance?
In this particular
in this instance, the circumstances were murky. The police were saying one thing, the community members were saying another thing. So only an independent body could establish the facts. So I don't think that this one...
If an independent body has established the facts different from what the police is saying, then we have a problem.
Exactly.
Anyway, this is Breakfast Daily. We'll go for a quick break. Remember to keep your messages coming through with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line
0550585832. We'll be right back.
Citi TV is live. Citi TV is a free-to-air digital channel. On a digital TV, please press menu on your remote control and run a news search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a multi-TV digibox. Tune into Citi TV and experience your world. Citi TV, it's your world.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Now, before the break, we were discussing the killings of 7 innocent men at Asawasi. We got a message from Clinton Che from Kaswa. He says, "Good morning. I'm really amazed as to how these policemen could easily release bullets on innocent souls. What sort of police do we have as a country? They should, in fact, be brought to call and face the full laws of the country." And I completely agree with you. They should be held accountable. Keep the messages coming with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550585832. Now, up next, TUC is speaking up about
the National Cathedral.
Yes, the National Cathedral. They think the government should not be spending money on the National Cathedral.
Okay, so I'm going to read from page 15 of the Ghanaian Times this morning. Okay, it says here the Trade Union Congress says it is surprised by government's decision to fund the building of a national cathedral with state funds, contrary to their earlier suggestion to only cater for the land. Now, according to the TUC, the turn of events was inconsistent with earlier statements so eloquently espoused by government officials not to commit funds to the project beyond the provision of land. We therefore are surprised to hear from the Minister of Finance that the state is facilitating the process of the building of the National Cathedral by providing the land, secretariat and seed money for the preparatory phase. We want to urge the government to move away from such non-priority projects. So, in a nutshell, this is what the TUC is saying in response.
But then the president said it's priority amongst priorities, well, and TUC saying it's non-priority. But council,
maybe we should start with Felix Opuzikwachi on this particular one. I'm very interested.
Yeah, I mean, the TUC has been spot on. They've been very vocal about this matter. I think it's about the second statement that they've issued on this particular subject. And you see, it's quite unfortunate that the NPP government, led by Nana Akufo-Addo, does not appear to be in sync with the pulse of the nation. Look, when you are in government, you must behave responsibly. The resources and mandates entrusted to you must be utilized in the most efficient and beneficial manner. Nobody can convince me about the benefits or functional necessity of this cathedral. And even more worrying are the explanations and justifications that have been provided for it. I heard the president once say that it will foster unity amongst the people of Ghana and that we are a Christian nation and that church services can be held there. Look, with the greatest respect of the president, I'm not sure that a cathedral is the most important thing in our lives at this time. We have many, many churches in Ghana. They have some of the most fantastic auditoriums in this country. Why? The Church of Pentecost has this huge facility somewhere around Kaswa. That's where we held our youth and women's conference. There's no national church service or Thanksgiving that you cannot hold there. The Lighthouse Chapel, the ICGC, the Perez Chapel have huge auditoriums.
But these are unique churches to their own, right? But the cathedral, we can all access it, whether he's Methodist, Catholic.
I'm saying that what is the purpose for building a cathedral? To go and worship God, right? So why can't you hold a national church service in any of these churches? I'm sure the churches will be too happy, more than happy to open their doors to the nation.
Well, we also have libraries as well.
That is true. But tell me what exactly is to be derived from putting up a cathedral. Once in a while, you go and hold a church service. Because it is a cathedral built for religious activity, you can't hold secular activity there. So you cannot make revenue, generate revenue out of it. If we are going to build a convention center, that is for multi-purpose use, where you can hold church services, you can hold concerts, you can hold conferences, political party rallies, and what have you. That one brings you direct revenue. So it can be justified. Over time, you will recover the cost. But with this particular cathedral, after holding church services once in a while, and perhaps holding inaugurations of presidents, and when you have a Muslim president, why would you go to a cathedral to hold an inauguration? The Muslim president can argue that should be done in a mosque. What if you have a president who is a traditionalist and does not believe in either Christianity or Islam? So you have to go to a shrine to do that. The justifications are untenable. But what also has to be considered is that we are talking about this at a time when people are complaining of hardship. People cannot make ends meet. The president himself, the finance minister, in his recent budget statement, admitted the prevalence of hardships in this country. So when you have a government that is unable to alleviate that hardship, take monies and pumps it into what is an unnecessary project.
Well, they're going to fundraise from Ghana in the US.
They say that, first of all, they are demolishing houses built with state resources. Those houses were built by the Mills and Mahama administration. Some of them were completed barely a year ago. Some of them even remain uncompleted. Huge resources have been pumped into it. Then you demolish it, which represents a waste of the money. Then you provide seed money, which is the taxpayers' money. The same taxpayer who lives in parts of this country and cannot have access to potable water. Sometimes they have to share water with animals. Their children sit under trees. When the weather changes, school has to close. Why? There are places where if you get a snake bite, that marks the end of your life because you can't get access to anti-snake bite serum. We have appalling problems in this country. And surely, what governments ought to be doing is to make the investments that benefit people. Why? That cathedral I hear is going to cost about $100 million. That can put up an ultra-modern district hospital that can render health services to tens of thousands of people. Why? When President Mama was president and he had money, he built hospitals, he built schools, he built road infrastructure, telecommunication systems, water facilities, and what have you. That benefit people, millions of Ghanaians. The investments he made in water alone provided additional water access for 7 million people. Why? He could also have built a cathedral. But what is its use? And you see, at the heart of this for me is an attempt by the president to appeal to religious fundamentalism as a way of getting votes at the election. So that people are not thinking rationally about the matter, but they make emotional and fundamentalist arguments. Otherwise, what is the rationale? What is it that this country stands to benefit from the building of a cathedral? Who says that it is only a national cathedral in which national church services can be held? Why don't churches hold ICGC? They have huge, what do you call it? Churches, square. But they hold congregations and independent.
Where did you get the source for the 100 million cost for the cathedral?
Well, I've read it. Yes, I've read it. Otherwise, you should tell us how much it will cost.
Okay.
Yes, but I've read it.
Thank you.
In several news items. Well, if it is wrong, he can take the opportunity to tell us exactly how much it will cost. But I don't want a penny of mine, of my taxes, to go into that project. It is not because I'm also Christian. Okay, there's a church that I attend, and I think that there are sufficient venues in this country for us to hold church services, which will be held once in a blue moon. That does not justify the pumping of resources into this. If the president has capacity to raise resources, let him raise resources so he can open hospitals that have been closed. I learned last week or so that the Maritime Hospital that President Mama bequeathed is unable to function properly. So they operate only on weekdays from Monday to Friday. Even then, they close at 5 p.m. On weekends, Saturday, Sunday, they don't open at all because government does not have the money to give them seed capital to run it. And it doesn't cost much. The Legon Hospital, the reason why it is sitting there unopened is that they need money for consumables over a certain period. And it won't cost anywhere close to what this cathedral will cost. So I agree entirely with the TUC when they call out the president for spearheading this project. And you see, the show of insensitivity about it, the show of impunity, that you tell people that of all the problems you have in this country, your topmost priority is a building of a national cathedral at a time when you are borrowing, you are going cap in
respectfully hand. He didn't say it was his top priority. He said it's amongst priorities.
When you tell me the priority among priorities, that is another way of saying that is your topmost priority. That is all. And we should not split us
amongst is not the same
amongst the priorities. That's your topmost. So it's the topmost priority.
Okay,
and
thank you.
Can the building of an edifice like that be the topmost priority of a president who went around queuing and telling people that they were living in hardships? And telling people that we're sitting on gold and yet we're hungry. Have we resolved the problem of hunger or malnutrition? Children die because they cannot get access to basic drugs. There are women who get pregnant, go into labor, and have to be carried over streams and rivers to go and deliver. It is an appalling state of affairs, and therefore does not in any way, shape, or form justify the building of this cathedral.
Thank you.
Religious fundamentalism cannot secure votes for the president. What will secure him votes is the prudent and efficient utilization of the mandate that he's been given and the resources that he controls.
Thank you.
To resolve problems that confront him.
Thank you very much. Council, we're talking about the National Cathedral. TUC does not agree with the president that we should be spending anything on it. I mean, aside the land.
I'm extremely saddened. Well, TUC is entitled to their view, and I won't begrudge them at all for making a suggestion as to what they think government should do or not do. But you see, listening to Felix, I've sat here quietly and I'm wondering, we lived in this country, and maybe because they think we have shared memory, we've forgotten, that you didn't find it irresponsible for government that budgeted for judgment debts and used your scarce resources to pay. That was a responsible expenditure. You didn't have a problem when JIDA was set up to bleed this country's resources. It was a responsible expenditure. You didn't have a problem when people created, looted, and shared our resources under your government, because you were an active member of that government. You didn't find that as irresponsible. But you sit here today because you expect that Ghanaians by now would have forgotten all the things that happened under your watch.
Imagine Ghanaians still remember. Does that justify the building of the National Cathedral?
That's why I said that TUC,
they're entitled to your opinion.
By all means. But for this man to sit here and tell us tax.
But he's a citizen of the country.
I don't have a
as well.
problem. Let's be consistent in our expression of waste at any time. Then we can be taken serious. I'm not interested in equalization. It doesn't help.
Almost
the
appears that
conversation.
that's what you're doing.
But no. I just want to draw people's attention to persons who presided over affairs of this country at the time that still people didn't have.
I want
water
us to
drink.
focus on the National Cathedral.
Cathedral.
Are you in support of
You
it
see,
or against it?
I am fully 101% in support of it.
Why?
Because I think that the reasons that have been given by government, particularly when government has indicated quite clearly that owing to our financial situation as a country now, government doesn't believe that taxpayers' money ought to be used to build the National Cathedral.
Where are they getting
That's
the
a
seed
fact.
money
No,
from?
hold on. But that seed money, what is seed money? And we should be interested in asking the finance minister to tell us how much seed money is being put in to set up an office and to organize fundraising events to raise money to build a cathedral. We should. It's a legitimate question to ask. That, Mr. Finance Minister, you said that government was going to produce seed money to set up the secretariat that enables the trustees.
The seed money,
No, please,
the seed money is not to set up the secretariat.
What is it?
The secretariat is to be set up. Additionally, seed
Seed
money
money
is
is also
provided.
to do what?
Then additionally,
To
a
do-
fundraiser will be held in
to do
December.
what? Seed money to do what?
To start
I was
the
in
project.
the chamber when the finance minister spoke.
Yes, and we also
We
follow.
also-
Yes, and
we
what did he
also-
say? Did he say that seed money was going to be used to build the
No,
church?
he just
The
said they'll have
government
a
is
secretariat
providing the
and then they will have the
secretariat.
seed money as well. But he didn't say the seed money will be used to fund it.
The entire statement that the finance minister made. He said that government was going to provide seed money
Yes.
in addition to the land, okay,
And the second.
to do the, what you call it, the national secretariat.
No, he also mentioned the secretariat. He didn't say they were going to
Absolutely.
use
And
that
so
to fund
he
the
indicated
secretariat.
that the first
and then they
was going to be held
in Ghana, and
in
then
December.
February they will go
And
to
of
the
course,
US.
Who has to pay for it?
And what a lot of Ghanaians or some Ghanaians are feeling is we have priorities in this country. We are going through hardship. Why aren't we fundraising to solve some of these issues?
When President Kufuor,
Children are hungry. People are
I
unemployed.
agree.
There's so many issues going
I
on, and
agree.
we're
I don't
fixating over
have
a
a
national
problem.
cathedral.
it's not a fixation.
So what is it?
It's a project that government intends to do.
Okay.
Amongst all the other things that government is doing. Hospitals are being built as we speak. Water systems are being provided as we speak.
And we're
Schools are
demolishing
being-
buildings to build a national
You see,
cathedral.
it's the location that has been decided on that happens to have some buildings on it. Within the scheme of the area, that is where government has decided to put up the National Cathedral. We can complain about the expense. It's a legitimate complaint. I don't
Especially
have
for a
prob-
developing
No,
country.
I don't have a problem at all.
But Ghanaians have a
This same
problem
call
with it.
was made.
TUC
You
has a
recall,
problem
I
with
don't
it.
have a problem. I'm not a member of the TUC. I can't begrudge them for making any contribution to any subject.
But
for
shouldn't
national
we
discussion.
put
And
that
it's a
into
healthy- I
consideration
don't have a
that
problem.
our citizenry
Yes.
are saying perhaps we should pause a
Ultimately,
bit?
a decision will have to be made, regardless of all the inputs that people are making, and legitimately so.
Okay.
By all means. But His Excellency the President has a mandate, and he is going to take the decision and would be responsible for his decisions.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have a problem with TUC making a comment. You recall when President Kufuor was building the Jubilee House, the comments that came from stakeholders, particularly the NDC, they said they were going to convert it into a hand coop. We didn't need it. Ghana was not ready. People were hungry. People have always been hungry.
Is that
Yet
a
they spent money
justification
doing
for us to
reckless
continue?
things.
If people have always been hungry,
Please.
is that why we should build
No,
cathedrals
you
and
see-
not
you see-
address the
you
hunger
see,
issue?
the-
Because we go around the
I
world
have-
trying to solve poverty.
I
We
have-
talk about SDGs, and we're saying people have always been hungry.
I agree. You see, I have listened quite closely to the argument for the National Cathedral. The president has said that, look, we don't have any edifice that we can use for national events. several important funerals, state functions happen that we need to do in open air. He doesn't think that that is the way to go. And so he is proposing that in commemoration of our 60th anniversary, we build a national cathedral, not only for church, because it's a multi-purpose hall.
But you do agree that we've been getting along fine without the cathedral,
Of
right?
course, we will get along fine.
I mean, these functions that you're mentioning happens at the State House and the Conference Center.
You see, let's not reduce the conversation to absurd levels.
Oh, it's not absurd
No,
to
I
assume
mean,
that
but
we...
if you say that, we've gotten along just fine.
We've had state funerals. I mean, former President Mills. We've had a lot. Even Kofi Annan. We've been
There's
fine.
a lot of traffic in town. We get by fine. So we shouldn't do the mass transit.
Oh, you can't compare traffic to a cathedral.
No, I'm asking.
Respectfully,
I'm asking
counsel.
And you
can't
feel,
compare.
But we
traffic.
you feel where we are going to place. You feel where we are going to place the national cathedral is not going to bring traffic.
No, the reasons
You see,
you're giving to us for the cathedral is not convincing
But I haven't even
enough.
finished.
Okay, continue.
Okay?
Continue. I'm sorry.
And so, look, we are entitled to disagree. And I'm not saying that by all means agree with His Excellency the President. I do. You are entitled not to. It's fine.
I'm just asking questions.
No, I don't have a problem. Okay? And anybody who doesn't agree is entitled to disagree. There's no problem. That's the beauty of democracy.
Help us understand why we need
Okay,
it.
so reasons have been advanced that we do not have as a nation any such edifice that hosts important national events. In most instances, we'll have to do it in open air at the park. So to commemorate our 60th anniversary, if you go to many capitals across the world,
Developed countries, for
national
example.
edifices that are used to hold important events. And so the president wants to build a national cathedral that we can use as a nation to host important events.
Okay.
But we recognize that we do not have money. And so we can't fund it by ourselves. So president has set up a trust fund, tasked them with the responsibility of raising the funding to build the church.
The
He's
cathedral.
providing them seed funds to enable them to do that. And we are running over ourselves over that matter.
We are running over ourselves
Because
because
we're going
the
to have
Deputy
to provide
Information
seed money
Minister,
to
the Deputy
to the
Information
Secretariat.
Minister. So has the government changed its initial plan? Because the Parasaji, the Deputy Information Minister, did say clearly that government is not providing even a peso. He said government is only providing the land. And then the arguments about even costing demolishing the buildings amongst others
Now
will
it's
come
about
from state
state
resources.
funds,
And now we are being informed
fundraising
about
in Ghana
seed fund.
and
Now
US.
initially, your comments seem to suggest that the seed fund is going to be used for the fundraising, which is clearly not the case. I'm going to read exactly what the finance minister said. He said, the state is facilitating this process by providing the land, the secretariat, and the seed money for the preparatory phase. This
So what is the
he said.
preparatory phase?
So the seed money is not for the
No, so
preparatory
what
phase.
is the preparatory? The seed
He
money is for the
goes on
preparatory
to
phase.
say,
What is
sorry,
the preparatory
Counsel,
phase?
he goes on to say that this cathedral partnership framework operationalizes and indeed is a practical expression and to foster social partnership amongst others. Then he goes on to say that subsequently there shall be a fundraiser in
Ghana,
December
in the
28th, later
US.
for December 28th. So the money, the seed money, let's not create
Belittle
the
it as though
impression
it's
that
for
it
this
is that is what is going to be used for the
I want to
fundraiser.
understand what your understanding of preparatory phase is.
Preparatory phase could mean anything, I believe.
Thank you though.
It could mean anything.
Let's hear Felix closing
you see,
remarks.
my brother's justification of this cathedral project is the clearest indication yet that there's actually no justification for its construction. Now he says that we have been in power before, so we are precluded suddenly from speaking about national events, as though when they left power in
Is that what I
2008.
said?
No, that's not what he said.
No, but he said
That's
that
the
I cannot
implication
comment.
of what he
that's
said.
the implication of what he said. So when
That's
they left
what
power,
the implication
He's
of
saying he-
Make reference to
Please,
Jida
no,
amongst
when-
others.
no,
What he's saying is you have
You
misappropriated
sat
funds.
they
here
left power.
and expended public
No,
funds
when
on
they
the
left power.
reckless
Look,
activity.
Let him clarify
You
what
turn
he
around
said,
and
Felix.
tell us about.
I'm
Okay,
quite
let
clear.
me
This is
finish.
irresponsible.
Counsel.
Was Jida
Counsel.
expressed
Counsel,
responsible?
he
That's what I'm talking about.
didn't
I'm
interrupt
quite
you.
clear.
He didn't interrupt you.
About what he said. When they left power in 2009 to 2016, they didn't put padlocks on their mouths. They were running around making all kinds of noises, from the president, his vice president, to everybody in the party. We in the NDC will always be in with a shout in the national conversation, and the MPP are going to have to get used to it. 2, there have been plenty of waste, stealing, malfeasance, and plain theft under the MPP administration. Okay, at the very least, they took $1 billion Ameri innovation deal to Parliament. Later, the president told us that he was misled. Why aren't we lamenting the Kenny
Let's focus on.
I'm coming. There's a litany of corruption allegations against this government, but it has not stopped them from commenting on national affairs. So surely, to the extent that there's corruption under your government, you cannot claim that because there were allegations of corruption in the past, people should keep quiet and allow such a massive waste of national resources. Why? Who says that even a penny of my tax money should be expended on this project?
It was spent on mass branding.
No.
That doesn't justify. It doesn't justify. It doesn't justify. It doesn't justify.
$1 million Ghana cedis was stolen from the Premier Secretariat. Okay, same way
you get a chance to respond.
You took $100,000.
Let's focus on the cathedral, Felix. Respectfully,
cheap propaganda is not going to advance the
conversation.
You are engaging in cheap propaganda.
Okay, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Council.
You are.
Council, please. You have a chance to respond.
We are discussing that you want in Jida. You don't want your corruption scandals on air.
What corruption scandal?
No, when your corruption scandals are
what corruption scandals?
You both have corruption scandals, to be fair. So let's stay away from the corruption scandals.
Your own issues. Create your own
We're going to go for a commercial break.
I expect everybody to swallow it 2 clients.
Council, drink tea.
Felix, focus on the cathedral. Felix, focus on the cathedral. The cathedral. Your response to the cathedral.
We swallowed hook, line,
Let's just focus on the cathedral.
$1 billion Mary deal.
Fine. We're talking about the cathedral.
Felix, but let's talk about it.
Thank you.
I'm saying that this cathedral is a complete waste of state resources. They have no justification for it. Look, this bits about places for national gatherings. We have been gathering at the conference center all this while, and we have not died. But you see, the reason why the conference center will be a justifiable project is that yes, the money that was spent on it has been recovered long ago. The National Theatre was built about 20 years ago. They've recovered the money. We hold state events there all the time. Parliament House, its use is not in doubt. Job 600, its use is not in doubt. The State House, its use is not in doubt. The Castle at Osu, its use has never been in doubt. But I'm saying that you cannot expend this money.
Why didn't you have the Jubilee House?
Please, don't worry, the Jubilee House. Look, at the time that you were building the Jubilee House,
what didn't you say?
There was
a chance to
of government. It existed already. So we disagreed with the new one. We would have stayed there. But you built the new one anyway. So we cannot leave it fallow and not occupy it. We occupied it. We used it. But at the very least, that is being put to use. Why? You have
so when we have the cathedral, we can still put it to use as well, right?
I'm telling you that this. Look at what a cathedral stands for. They are not building a convention center. It is a cathedral.
But we do know that in Ghana, even churches, people use churches for events.
Listen,
to be fair, even the Catholic Church has indicated clearly that they cannot even perform mass at
yes, but Felix, you will agree that in Ghana, we use churches for all sorts of things, all sorts of events.
You cannot go and hold.
Not a secular event.
We won't do secular events there, but you will still use it.
Reserved for religious activities involving the state. And I'm saying, how many times do you have those activities to warrant the building of a permanent place like that at such a huge cost? And again, let him not.
And it will also be a good tourist attraction, right? We have a library there.
Please.
I mean, there are different reasons for it as well.
The largest church building in the world is in Yamoussoukro. It's a basilica. Go and see, it's lying fallow in the bush.
Okay.
When they were building it, similar arguments were made. No. Similar arguments were being made. Nobody goes to that basilica. It's lying the land. You see, the land that is being used to build that cathedral is valued at millions of dollars. It is the property of the state. So let nobody tell us that they are not spending anything on it. They seed money for preparatory work. What does it mean? It means that your taxes, my taxes, his taxes will be taken and put into that matter, which contradicts the initial claim
that we're just providing land.
But the final point is that if we as a country have an opportunity to raise funds, what are we better off doing? Raising funds from outside to resolve pressing problems of our people, or raising those funds to push resolving all of them before we did not. It is your responsibility to continue. At this rate,
because you take the liability and the assets of the previous administration.
You can't show any
to pay off your debt.
No, why?
Every single
it is not
it's complementary projects. What are we talking about? Let's not allow them to throw that in the eyes of the public. What are we talking about?
It is not true.
Thank you, Felix. Thank you. Let me just let you wrap. Let him wrap up.
Let me show you that what he's saying is completely false.
Okay, briefly.
Yes, let your producers let them Google government's issuance calendar for last year and this year. They show you how much money they borrowed domestically. They show you what they have put in the payment of debt. and what is new debt that they are using to finance the budget. So it is false that all the money you have borrowed has gone into debt. If you borrow money and pay off debt, you don't increase the debt. Yeah. So let him stop peddling this on
okay.
But the point is that you have not been able to justify the building of this cathedral. All your claims have turned out to be untrue. The initial claim that you won't spend taxpayers' money has been false. The land you are using is public property, so it amounts to taxpayers' money. And I am saying that of all the problems we have in this country, this
borrowed to fund new expenditure that does not reflect consumption.
Yes, please allow him.
It's accounting. What was the budget deficit that was approved by Parliament for government to borrow to fund the gap between our revenue and expenditure for 2008? Has it been exceeded?
No.
Has it?
Well, IMF released a report that we didn't even meet our revenue targets. We need to.
I agree.
These things are documented.
Felix, let him make his point. Felix, we have 10 seconds.
Yes. Recurrent expenditure is in the budget.
Make your closing remarks. We have to close.
Let him have
Look, the total revenue and expenditure estimates of government is what is presented to Parliament for approval.
Yeah.
We say that we are going to raise X amount of money, but spend X plus Y. We don't have the Y. Okay, so give us approval to spend X plus Y by borrowing the differential. Now, Parliament approves it.
Yes.
We go and we spend X plus Y.
That doesn't mean Y is unlimited.
Absolutely. No, it's unlimited. That's why I asked that all the allegations that they are making,
what allegations?
the government exceed the approved budget deficit financing that Parliament approved. Clearly not. So what is the basis of all these allegations?
Thank you very much, Councilman. Thank you, Felix. We are done. Thank you very much. You can calm down and drink your tea. Thank you so much for joining us.
We have borrowed to finance the budget.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
So you guys.
Jakoro Ventures Limited is the waste service provider franchised by the AMA to provide services within Osuklote South Metro. We also operate within Zone 2 of the Adentan Municipal Assembly. Our proficient refuse and segregated waste collection crew ensures timely and quality service delivery at every service point. Our friendly management and supervisory staff are always available on call for our cherished clients. We engage in partner organizations to clean up the city and beaches as part of our corporate social responsibility towards making Accra the cleanest city in Africa. Embark on public sensitization and educational outreaches on environmental and sustainable waste management options. We advocate reuse and self-separation of waste, paper, plastic, and organic, to which value can be added through recycling. Smega 16 award-winning company in waste and recycling manufacturing, implementing partner to Mayor of Accra initiative on waste segregation in basic schools in Osuklote. Jakora, the waste management professionals.
Beauty, they say, lies in the eyes of the beholder. And at Second Image, getting that beauty is our priority, with services for facials for spots and wrinkles, body treatment for body shaping and slimming, hairstyling for bridal dressing, body massage, manicure and pedicure, artificial nail extensions. Guarantees you that perfect body and skin. Second Image also offers training for students in hairdressing, beauty therapy and fashion, and design up to HND level. Our course duration ranges from 2 to 6 weeks for short courses, or up to 2 years. Second Image also runs a special foundation program for JHS leavers in hair and beauty therapy, dressmaking and electronics. Contact us now on 0243-331-999 or 0302-221-376. Or you can locate Second Image next to Adabraka Police Station, Kwame Nkrumah Avenue, or visit us at secondimagegana.com. Admissions run throughout the year. Second Image gives you a new image. Second Image, be empowered to succeed.
Let's take you on a journey of discovery, the incredible sights, artifacts, music, and adventure. It is what makes life worth living. Our history, the arts, and soul. Art and Soul with Melissa Awad. Saturdays at 8:30 a.m.
only on Citi TV.
Art and soul, art, soul, art and soul, art, yeah, soul, art and soul, art, soul, art and soul.
I'm Jennifer Ajaman, corporate trainer and life coach. Keep watching Breakfast Daily only on Citi TV.
What's up? My name is DKB. As you know, Ghana is a third world country. We are a poor country trying to get to middle income status. So, of course, food security is low and nutritional deficiency is high. But if you want your breakfast on a daily, keep watching Breakfast Daily. We'll give you a breakfast every day. As I talk right now, I've had my unapo.
Be our guest.
Tema International School invites you to be our guest on Friday, 23rd November, 7 p.m. at the National Theatre of Ghana as we proudly present
I want adventure in the great white somewhere.
With the cool 70 Ghana CDs, you will witness TIS's spectacular adaptation of Beauty and the Beast.
Martha.
What?
Tickets can be obtained at TIS's campus, Citi FM, Airport Shell, Patrona Total on the Spintex Road, Community 11 Shell Shop, Star Bites at Community 8, and Accra Mall at Biteleys, Body Basics, and Enda.
This production is part of our 15th anniversary celebrations, and all proceeds go towards Students Community Service Project.
This production is proudly supported by
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV, and as you already know, Tuesdays for our health segment, we're usually joined by Dr. Senyo, who is here in the studio with us. But today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about alopecia. Alopecia is an autoimmune disease which attacks your hair follicles. So it causes your hair to come out, often in clumps the size of a coin, and the amount of hair loss is different in everyone. So it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. Some people might lose more hair, some people might lose a bit of hair. Some people lose it in a few spots, other people lose much more. There's a young, brilliant woman who's an advocate for body positivity, and also she's gone through this alopecia autoimmune disease that we're talking about. Our reporter Farida Shaibu spent some time with her, so we'll take a look at the report and then have a conversation with the beautiful Lahadi Samira and of course Dr. Senyo.
At an early stage of 2, Ladi started losing her hair. It grew in patches and was not so abnormal for a child her age. But as the years went by, she became aware that she was suffering from a condition called alopecia areata.
Your immune system actually fights your hair follicles. It sees them as a foreign material. So it fights them and you end up losing the hair. Alopecia areata happens to be the most common autoimmune disorder. But because of the stigma attached to it, you end up not hearing so much about it, because being a woman and losing your hair, it's a big deal. So you don't find people talking so much about it. They would rather prefer to hide.
By the time Ladi was 4, her patches became more visible and she had to endure bullying throughout her school life.
Initially, we thought it started from age 5, but from recent pictures my mom showed to me, it started way earlier, like 2, but it was on and off. So I lose the hair, it grows. I lose it, it grows. And then at 4, when I lost it, that was it. I kept losing till now. So by the time I was age 6, I was very much aware that I wasn't, in quote, normal. I don't have hair. For me, that awareness started at age 6 for me because of obvious bullying in school.
For her parents, the fear of seeing their only daughter and child lose her crown scared them to the bone. They tried everything medically possible to reverse the condition, but to no avail.
Being a kid, I got sick frequently because my immune system was tempered with just to grow hair. And I think somewhere around 7, I told my dad that I'm not doing it again.
Alopecia is not a symptom of cancer or that someone is going through chemotherapy. Some women later in life start losing their hair and sometimes get diagnosed of it. Scientists have not been able to prove any concrete causes to the condition yet. But doctors say diabetes, taking some cancer medications, and even stress can trigger it. The Rabito Clinic specializes in this kind of dermatology, and this is where Ladi has been receiving treatment for the past 8 years. One of the dermatologists at this facility, Dr. Roslyn Osazuwa, explains that her outfit sees about 10 patients with alopecia in a month, both men, women, and children. Usually, these patients are not aware of the condition, and they often suffer all manner of stigmatization.
Senior high school was the worst. it was my worst moment in my life. Secondary school was where even teachers were bullying me compared to students doing them. And I had a huge collection of headscarves. What I was doing was, when I'm going to school, I tie a headscarf. When I get to the school premises, I take the headscarf off. There are students who would run after you, literally, just to come and pull the headscarf off your head when you're trying to go home. They called me all sorts of names, from Shaolin Soccer to... I can't tell you how many nicknames I had in school. It was depressing. When I was leaving school, I remember I told them that they are not going to see me this way again.
Most victims, like Ladi, eventually resort to different kinds of treatment or methods of covering up.
Immediately after my last paper, I was out of the school. I was straight to the house. My mom sent me to the hairdressing salon. So at that stage, I hadn't really put so much pressure on my hair. So I had very strong follicles. I had actually just lost the ring part of my head by then. So the braids were able to hold. But as time went on, I kept braiding, I kept weakening the follicles, because already your system is fighting against it and you're already putting so much pressure on it. So after that braiding, as the years went by, I became so weak and I couldn't put on the braids again. So I had to go fully wig caps.
So talking of wig caps, how many have you had? I can see about, you still have the braids and then you still have some wig caps. I can see some here. Are these just the ones that you have?
At every given moment, I have 15 wigs with me. When I made a decision to actually let go, I gave all of them out because, one, these things cost a whole lot of money. So throwing them away was not an option for me. And I also didn't want to keep them with me. I don't want to remember that part of my life. So I chose to give them out. I gave a whole lot of them out. I think I'm left with just about 3 or 4, which would obviously be going by next week.
Let's take a look at this one. I think this one here looks very, very nice. Human hair?
Yes, it's actually a Peruvian.
Oh, and that should be very expensive. How much do you make this one? And probably on the average, how much can you tell us that you spent on these wigs?
So on an average every month, I spend close to about 1,000 buying the wig. Then I spend close to 200 cedis making them into this. So on an average every month, I have to part away with 1,000 to 1,005, depending on the type of hair I want to wear for the month, which is extremely ridiculous.
But what seemed to be like a savior or a temporary solution wasn't one after all. Constant braiding put extra pressure on the hair follicles. Ladi had to try different means of covering up, like using tattoos, until eventually she shaved it all off.
The tattoos actually made it worse, like you said, because it was a different kind of judging now. There's now the religious factor where you're not supposed to alter your body and then you're going to hell. Anybody that sees me on the street wants to find some sort of preaching to give to me because I am wearing a head tattoo. Nobody cared about why are you wearing the head tattoos. And actually, people living with alopecia will tell you the head tattoos actually helps, because that's the only way they draw attention to themselves, and at the same time they try and communicate with you.
Doctors say there's currently no cure for this condition, but there can only be some form of treatment depending on what works for each patient.
Every given moment that I walk out of my house or probably at work, you end up finding someone saying something about your look. Because one, it is not very normal for you to see women who are bald. Bald men are considered sexy. Unfortunately for women, it is not.
Especially when they have the beard.
Exactly, it is not for women. For women, it is not. So I've been mistaken to be a lesbian. I have been denied into a taxi because the person thought the driver thought I was a lesbian, so he chose not to pick me. It's like my daily life now, but I've gotten so used to it.
One other major treatment is also to help patients with a psychological effect.
This is the progress she's made with just a session, and I believe it's a tremendous improvement. If she would go on with the second and the third session, I believe she'll be skyrocketing and she would truly live the true Lahadi she is. Yeah.
Right now, it's been free. Like, I wasn't living back then. It was a very difficult moment for me. You know, you are alive, but you're technically not living. You are shying away from public, you're shying away from society, you're scared somebody would pull your wigs off, and I don't have to live with that again. So right now, I am having the best moments of my life. I won't lie about it. This is like the best decision I took for myself. I know you are traumatized. You just don't want to be in the midst of people because of it. I am willing to help you. If only you can make that effort to reach out to me on all of my social media platforms, I'll be willing to help.
As a woman or a child growing up, everyone keeps telling you that your hair is your crown. But what if at some point in your life you go from this to that? It doesn't have to feel weird, because people like Ladi still have their crowns, and they will tell you that you're still a queen. For Citi News, Farida Shaibu.
So that was an amazing report by Farida. We got a chance to spend some time with Ladi, hear her story, a very inspirational story. I've been joined in the studio by Ladi Samira, an alopecian and also an advocate for body positivity. And of course, Dr. Senyo, who is a physician and a surgeon. Good morning to both of you. How are you?
Thank you.
First of all, Ladi, thank you so much for sharing your story, because I know that it takes a lot of courage and strength to share your story. But tell us a bit about growing up. Did you even know what alopecia was when your mom explained it to you? When did you come to terms with this medical condition?
So growing up was not the best for me. I didn't really grow up like the usual Ghanaian child. And by then, alopecia was not so known. Even till now, even now, it's still not known. So my parents were not too sure what it was. All they knew was I was losing my hair at a point in time. So I lose, it grows back, then I would lose again. And it was a lot of back and forth to the hospitals. By the time I was 4, I actually came to that realization that, okay, I am not the average Ghanaian child.
How did that make you feel?
Worse, because I was going through episodes of bullying from kindergarten to going to primary school. And people would shy away from me because, one, they think it's demonic. Wow. It was one of the things I had to deal with. People considering you an evil child, you're demonic simply because you don't have hair. Wow. And then I had to deal with kids not wanting to play with you for various reasons.
Or they think it's contagious or something?
It's not contagious, but they make you feel that you are contagious.
Wow.
That is how they make you feel. So most of my school life was actually nothing to write home about. It got worse in secondary school. Because at that age, you expect that students would know more about empathy. Yeah. But in my case, secondary school was not that for me. Everybody made fun of me. Teachers did. My classmates did. Other people from other classes, other schools. So I actually, in my entire school life, never went to inter-schools.
Wow.
I never stayed at entertainment.
When did you get the courage to say enough is enough? I'm going to own this story and I'm not going to be anybody's victim.
I was early this year. By then, I had noticed the rest of my hair that grows had become extremely thin. And one day I opened my closet and I saw my collection of weaves, so many of them. And I stood in my mirror and I asked myself, did I really do this to myself? I'm a non-conformist, but for one very strange reason, I allowed society bully and suppress me because I am different. And how long am I going to continue to do this? How much more money am I going to spend to look normal? At that point, it was difficult, but I had to make that strong stand and say that this is me. Either society accepts me the way I am, or everybody else can just forget, and I'll be fine living with it. So I decided to let's trim the part of the hair that grows because it's thin. It's not something I can go out with. I decided to trim it a bit and see if I could wear it. And yes, I was able to, but people still see you and they make comments like you look like a chicken that has fallen into water.
Wow.
And yes, so I just made a decision that I'm just going to let the rest of the hair go because sometimes it is worth you letting things go for your own benefit. As much as I had a little hair that I could rely on, at that given moment, it's making my situation worse. So let me let it go. Let me see how people react to it. I wouldn't care so much if people react strange to it. It is my hair, it is my body, my story. And I'm going to own it like that, whether you like it or not. So I decided to let the wigs go and then be myself.
So we'll touch on the importance of body positivity, but Doc Tasenyo, walk us through the medical bit of this. What exactly is alopecia? Is it hereditary? What exactly is it?
Right. So alopecia generally refers to hair loss. And I'll take you through. Usually your hair grows through about 3 distinct stages. There's a stage where the hair is growing and it could take 2 to 6 years of just elongation of hair. And then there's a transitional stage where the hair follicles are packing off. Basically like they've grown the hair already. They're going to transition into dying off so that new hair can grow. And then there's a terminal stage where the follicle sort of cuts off from the growing hair. And then the hair is said to be shedding or falling off. On the average, we lose about 100 or 150 strands of hair every day. And then the body tries to replace them as well at the same rate. So if your body is not replacing the hair that you are losing naturally, at the rate at which you are losing it, then you begin to have certain deficits. So this is how hair growth is normally. Now, in alopecia areata, what happens is that the body now sees its own hair follicles as foreign. Okay, now this is how God has arranged your hair follicles. God has arranged your hair follicles in such a way that there's always a group of cells that are around the follicles that protect the follicles. Okay, so we call that, people call it immune sparing and stuff like that, meaning that your body spares your follicles because something is covering them to sort of like to deceive the body that these are not foreigners. Okay, now in alopecia areata, that protection seems to go off. So the body then comes in.
What triggers it?
Right, so some people think that you might, still so much of it we do not know, but some people think that you might have inherited a defect in that protection around your follicles so that, then it becomes genetic. So some people will tell you that this runs in their families. But in other cases, she probably might be the first case in her family. Some people have it as an association with another form of autoimmune disease. So you remember we spoke over here about type 1 diabetes, where we said that in some cases your body is attacking its own self, the cells are produced. So sometimes alopecia areata is associated with type 1 diabetes.
Wow.
And sometimes it could also be associated with other autoimmune diseases like celiac disease, where the body just reacts to the presence of something in wheat and wheat products, okay, and then begins to destroy many things, including hair follicles. So in areata, so much of the understanding is not so known, but we know that it is a targeted approach by the body to destroy its own follicles because they've lost the protection around them.
Wow. Now, Ladi, why don't we know enough about alopecia? Even me, I only found out about it because of you. Right? So if you had not shared your story, I wouldn't have even known this. And if I had someone in my neighborhood or my church or my workplace, I wouldn't even know how to react to them because I would assume maybe they have cancer. Why don't we know enough about alopecia?
Strangely enough, alopecia happens to be one of the most common autoimmune diseases. but the stigma attached to it, especially for women. You know, we find ourselves in a terrain where a woman's body is determined by society, how you should look, what you should wear. Exactly. It's determined by society. So if you don't fit what society deems beautiful, the first thing that will come into your mind is trying to conform to whatever society thinks it's beauty. And if you do that, nobody sees the challenges you're having, nobody hears your story, and the next person will do the same. I currently have a whole lot of people still in my inbox who have the condition, but they are not willing to talk about it, because the next minute they come out, you'll be termed all sort of names to, you are not beautiful, you'll be judged. It's just a very not nice situation in Ghana compared to other countries where they have very strong associations that helps them. But in this country, we don't have that. Even head tattoos is a problem. And most alopecians will tell you that the head tattoos help them. It goes a long way in supporting their cause. But in Ghana, you can't wear a head tattoo. The next minute you wear it, people will be telling you how you're going to go to hell, and the best you can do for yourself, just to let yourself be at peace, you will just have to conform.
So we'll talk about how we can all check our stigma towards people battling with all sorts of body issues, right? Because you're a body positivity advocate. But Doc, is there a cure for alopecia? Because when I was watching the clip, I saw that she goes to a clinic, and I'm assuming that there's some form
of management or treatment. Well, there's no cure. The only thing that works sometimes is when you give medications that will suppress the immune system, so that it does not affect the remaining follicles. So that you have to be on for so many years. I mean, if not for life, to arrest the process. But there are areas that are promising. For instance, these tattoos are one. You can create a whole hairline and tattoo in there. There are also follicle transplants. These days, we can actually pick the hair follicle cells or pick a hair unit, from maybe a donor. Or these days, we can grow some of them. And then we can punch them into the dermis of the skin. Like these days, you can use a computerized system where we can just punch them, basically like planting, how you plant, seeds or and the rest. So you just put it in there and hope that the body will be able to pick up. Of course, under suppression of the immune system. For some people, that might work. But in most of the people, what happens is that because the immune system is so active, when it sees the new follicles, it quickly goes in there to attack them. But it's worth a try. Some people try, and then, they begin to recover. Now, having said that, in the cases where alopecia areata is associated with another autoimmune disease, for instance, like I mentioned, those who react to wheat and wheat germ products, once you notice that is it, and you withdraw what is causing that autoimmune disorder, you see that the hold on the follicles also begins to release, and then you begin to grow your hair back. But if it is a time associated with something else that can be corrected, then you have to live with it for life. And being positive is important. Today we have to reach everybody and say that body shaming is already a shame on the people who do it. All right. Now look, you can look at me and find so many problems, from my hair to my forehead to my teeth to my chest, my belly and everything, and find a problem based on what you think. All right. Now everybody has been created in a unique, special way. Now they don't have to look exactly like you. All right. How do you feel when you travel somewhere and people, discriminate against you because you're black? You understand? How do you feel when people see you and you have 5 children and they're disturbing you and they go like, oh, look at this woman, she had plenty of children? How do you feel when somebody says you are cool blackie? How do you feel when somebody says you have a big nose? How do you feel when somebody discriminates against you? That's what you need to be asking yourself. Look at this pretty woman. Look, in this studio, most of the guys, and I can tell that there are so many guys here compared to women, most of the guys were drooling when they saw most of the pictures. All right? So who gives you that right to say that somebody as beautiful as this, because does not have hair like you, has a problem? All right. Now the whole world is changing. Look at all these celebrities and models. All right. We're talking about the fact that today someone could decide to go proper bald as a woman, because they know their beauty lies in the shape of their head. Look at this woman. Do you understand? So it's a big shame on all of us who do body shaming, be it for hair, be it for lips, be it for anything at all. All right. So we just need to change that. And I admire your positivity, trust me. And that is where support groups start from. Someone like you could easily start a big support group. I know Rabito Clinic sees most of the cases in Ghana. I've seen quite a few and referred out. So if we all come together and get sufferers of alopecia areata especially, or other forms of alopecia which the length of this program will not allow us to discuss, together, and we begin to support ourselves. Look, people will join in.
Let me bring Ladi here. When did you decide to be an advocate for alopecia, right? And how important is it as a society? I mean, it's one thing for you to be as beautiful as you are, right? But there are 1,000 other patients who may not fit our view of a model type, someone who can rock it well, right? So how do we ensure that we instill empathy in our children? We check our own, stigma around these things and create an enabling environment for all kinds of kids to grow up with the confidence and self-esteem that they need to succeed in this world.
So I chose this advocacy because, one, I realized one thing. If you do things for yourself, you end up doing it the best way you can. Yeah. So the advocacy was basically as part of my growth to accept who I am. And if I'm able to do that, then there's chance for other people. I will be able to reach out to other people to help them. So the first thing to do is me healing by myself, then I can do that. And then body shaming is like very normal in Ghana.
How do we start making it not normal? How do we make it abnormal? Because I think that's very problematic.
I'll use my story as an example. I started being body shamed as a child. If at that time I spoke to my parents and they decided to do something about it, I wouldn't have grown to this stage. It is better fixing a broken child than a broken adult. When your child comes to you that my teacher said this about me, this student said this about me, as a parent, don't sit down. Because then immediately you do that, the kid will go back to school, it would happen. Then it becomes a cycle. And when it becomes that, you can't break it. By the time you're trying to fix it, it is way gone. And one thing about alopecia is it doesn't give you physical pain. It's more emotional and psychological. And it's not something you as a parent you would want to deal with. So at that time when kids start complaining, we should listen to them. Don't make it look like it's one of those things that happens in school. Don't normalize it because you think it is happening in school and school kids will be mean. Teachers should also make that point to protect children, because if a child comes to you, this person said this to me, as a teacher, you are supposed to do something about it. Don't leave it, let it slide and go like, oh, it would die off. Truth be told, it won't die off. It would continue, and it will become a cycle you can't break.
So where do we go from here? How do we become a more empathetic society?
When you see people living with various conditions, don't be in a hurry to judge the person. Make that attempt to ask the person questions, because I believe if you do ask the question, you would find a suitable answer to why people do certain things. That is what I realize. People are not so quick at asking you, why have you gone bald? They have more like, and you a woman, what do you think you've done to your hair?
Yeah.
That is the thing. But if you ask like genuinely what is happening, I'll be able to educate you that this is it. This is the condition I'm living with. And me educating you, when you see another person living with the condition, you would show more empathy towards that person. And the cycle would grow. And we'll end up educating a whole lot of people.
You know, just to add to this, you shouldn't see alopecia areata as a condition that afflicts only a few people. And so even you, it can happen to anybody, from children to adults. And actually, it's known that, well, if it's in your genes, then one day it will be expressed. All right, but to help what she was saying, if we know that at any time in your lifetime 2% of all of us could develop this condition, then it means that when you see somebody with a condition, you need to start planning how you cope with yours. There are so many people who have like very low levels of alopecia areata and do not know of it. There are a lot of men who see like a coin-like shaped area with no hair. Meanwhile, they didn't have any fungal infection, no reaction over there. Over a period of time, it's spreading, or it goes to another place. Mind you that when alopecia areata starts, and it's not so bad, like she said, the hair falls off, somehow new follicles come, it will grow back, and then you think everything is fine. But later, as the condition progresses, especially if we are not suppressing your immune system, then it begins to spread. So we are all not free. Even when you are 90 years old, you could still suffer from alopecia areata. So when we see people with a condition, we should know that it could happen to us too. And then the schools as well. And I love what she said, that when your child comes home saying that they are being bullied, ridiculed, or being, subjected to any of these mean things, as a parent, go to the school authorities. Inform them about it at your PTA meetings. Suggest ways of helping other children. Of course, if you had posters, for instance, in the school that you went to, and teachers were constantly explaining to your classmates, especially,
don't bully someone.
That don't bully someone with this. It could happen to you. These are the ways to help. It's their own body reacting. Children easily learn. Yeah. Okay, so once they pick it up, they'll be like, "Hey, I don't think we should teach this person." All right. And then when we come to the general population, what we are doing today is good. Breakfast Daily is, breaking grounds today, this morning, because we are talking about something that a lot of people didn't know about. Yeah. I bet people didn't know that it could happen to just anybody. Yeah. All right. So this is a platform as well. So we need the media as well to help to push this message across. We need support groups, like we said. You are doing a good job. So just start a small support group. Call me to join it. I'm sure G5 and everybody would like to support you. Then we'll change the mindset of a larger group of people.
Thank you. Now, Ladi, your closing remarks for us, as well as where we can, stay up to date with everything that you're working on for anyone that's watching us and would like to learn more about your journey from you.
I would advise people living with a condition that it is okay to come out. I can't promise you it would be rosy, but I can promise you would enjoy being a body, because it comes with its own advantages. So you can't keep hiding and pretending everything is all right. You can reach me on any of my social media platforms. I would assist you if you need the help. For the support groups, I am hoping that those I am talking to would actually take the help I am offering them. So together we can start pulling people together, because when we have the numbers, we would be able to speak better. For now, I do the little I can on my social media platform.
What's your social media platform?
Lahadi Samira.
Lahadi Samira.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you both so much. Again, there's a lot of strength in sharing your story, and I think we're all inspired that you're advocating in this way and educating all of us. And of course, Dr. Senyo, for not only focusing on the medical side, but also advocating for all of us to be a bit more empathetic, a bit more compassionate, because that's the essence of our humanity. Okay, Breakfast Daily continues. Don't go anywhere.
I know do them anything, yeah. She was saying, if you wish me fire and go to hello. What's up, it's your rockstar, Kwame Eugene. Keep watching Citi TV Breakfast Daily. Don't go anywhere. Rockstar. Yeah.
Sapphire, in collaboration with Aqua Safari, present KSM Unchained.
No, slow down, folks. You see, when it comes to NPP, NDC politics, it's pure genetics. It is called by their names, you shall know them. Oh, you think I'm lying? Let me mention one name and tell me if you know which party, huh? Okay, take this. Famous Akodonu.
Unchained and Uncensored. Date, December 7th at the National Theatre. Time, 4 and 8 p.m. Rates, 60 Ghana cedis flat for 4 p.m. show. 80 Ghana cedis regular for 8 p.m. show. For limited VIP 8 p.m. tickets, call 0266-699-249. 0266-699-249. Media partners. Sponsors, Ghana National Theatre, Cactus Creek, Faye Gift Shop,
Inkit, Food 101, Ticket Outlets, Bachona Total, Starbite East Legon, Airport Shell, Silverbed Cinema, Accra Mall, East Cantonment Pharmacy, East Legon, Ghana National Theatre, Faye Gift Shop.
Ebeya Wild Rough, KSM, Unchained and Uncensored.
Hi, this is Patrick Duncan, and you are watching Breakfast Daily on Citi TV.
Manifest your glory as we come before your presence. Hello, everybody. This is Enyanyam. Keep watching Citi TV Breakfast Daily.
Now come dance to the beat. Bend down, shoulder, shoulder. What's up, everyone? My name is Miss V. Right now, you are watching Breakfast Daily. Don't go anywhere. Tiptoe swag.
Wherever the party today, we step clean. Starting on a head of flex and I do your boy AI. Still bowling. Worldwide with it.
Okay, well, guess what? It's still Breakfast Daily, and of course, TIS is 15 years old. What is TIS? Timor International School, of course. Now they're 15 years old, and they are having a particular adaptation of one of my favorite all-time, should I say, stories or fairy tales or cartoons, Beauty and the Beast. I like that. I like that a lot because, you know, usually when we're on set, Jafar and I, there's one Beauty and there's one Beast. Anyway, so we've been joined by some students from TIS. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning.
Okay, so I'll start with the lady, of course. What's your name?
My name is Valerie.
And which form are you in? Class?
I'm in grade 12.
Grade 12. Ah, and you?
My name is Timon.
Timon.
Also in grade 12. Yes.
Fantastic.
And I'm Mr. Jerry Darko, a teacher.
What grade? Ah, you're a teacher. Okay, so tell us what exactly is happening that we should all look forward to.
Okay, so
yeah, we'll start with Timon.
So, as you know, Beauty and the Beast, a magical play from Disney. Our adaptation, okay, just to express ourselves. Yes, in terms of the arts, we're going to. It's student led, largely student led. So we have student cast, student directors. We being student directors.
You are the directors of this particular one.
Yes, I'm the music director. She's the acting director.
The acting. Okay, now let's hear from the acting director. Tell us more about the acting part of this particular adaptation.
Well, all of this started last semester, where we had auditions for each and every student to come and showcase their talents. TIS has a big, diverse amount of students, and we have
speak closer into the mic. Thank you.
We have very talented students as well. So many people came on their own to audition. We didn't force anyone to audition. So when it came time for...
And you selected your best friends, eh?
No, I was actually very open-minded and decided with my colleagues on who's to audition.
Okay, finally, then let's hear from you as well.
Yeah, basically what TI is...
You have to speak it.
Yeah, TI is a balanced school. She actually mentioned one of the learner attributes, which is being open-minded. And so in our bid to be open-minded, we give students several opportunities to unearth and develop their talents. And so the annual performance, the production, which is coming up on Friday, is actually one of the opportunities for students to actually develop their talents. And then one thing also TIS does is also we are into community service. We give back to the community. And so this year in particular, through the Interact group on campus, we're able to donate an incubator to the Tema General Hospital. Then we actually have put together more or less like a school for Graceland Academy far away in Akole-Kope. So basically what TIS does is to give back to community.
That's fantastic.
So this is just our way of giving back to community, and we are just entreating everyone to come on board and let's donate through your tickets and let's give back to communities.
Okay, fantastic. So we can see a bit of it on, I think that was a rehearsal, right?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, is that Beauty or that's you're the singing part? That's who?
Mrs. Potts.
Mrs. Oh, wow.
That's me.
Yeah.
Ah.
This is the cast.
Oh, wow. I think we're looking forward to this particular one. So we'll have you perform a bit of this particular play, but before that, let's take the when, the wheres, and how a person can get to, attend this particular event. I think I'll start with you, Chairman.
Okay, so on Friday, the 23rd of November, 7 p.m., we are having the Beauty and the Beast play at the National Theatre. Okay, we entreat everyone to be there. You can get tickets at Citi FM, TISS campus, Enda, Adele Carmel, Whiteley's, and Airport Shell. Yes, Airport Shell as well. Yes.
Okay.
We entreat all of you to be there.
Yeah. And what are the tickets going to be used for? Sorry, what are the proceeds? How much is the ticket, by the way?
70.
70. And what are the proceeds going to be used for?
All proceeds go to our community service projects.
Wow. Of which some have been used for incubators and others that you mentioned. Fantastic. Okay, thank you also very much for coming. And guess what? For this particular event, I have a free ticket for one person watching us right now. We shall be announcing at the end of the program who we are going to be giving the particular ticket to, or how you can get access to this particular ticket that I'm holding especially for you. So I'll just leave you to have your particular, performance, and I'm looking forward to it. So maybe they can come out now. Come join us. The performers, we have a few of the performers from this particular play. Please come forward. Come join us. Yes. So joining me are the cast of Beauty and the Beast, an adaptation. Viewers, stay tuned. This is Breakfast Daily. Enjoy.
Oh, Cogsworth, have a heart.
Of course, you are all welcome to see us perform on the National Theatre stage this Friday at 7. Say it. Say it. Say it.
Fine. You're all welcome to be
our
guests.
Hello, Bill.
Hello, Gaston. What a pleasant surprise.
Aren't I full of surprises? You know, Bill, it's not a girl in town who didn't love to be in your shoes. Today's the day. Today's the day your dreams come true.
What do you know about my dreams, Gaston?
A lot. Here, picture this. A rustic hunting lodge. My latest kill roasted on the fire. My little wife massaging my feet. A little case playing with the dogs. We'll have 6 or 7.
Dogs?
No, strapping boys like me.
Imagine that.
And do you know who that wife will be?
Let me think.
You, Belle.
Please, Gaston, I'm speechless. I really don't know what to say.
Say you marry me.
Please, Gaston, I can't. I just don't deserve you.
Be our guest.
Be our guest. Put our service to the test. Tie your knot.
Hi, I'm Natasha, dance director. I'm Oluwayemike Fajimroku. I'm dance director too.
Hi, my name is Valerie and I'm director of acting. Beauty and the Beast has been one of the best experiences that I've had in TIS, and to see it in the National Theatre is one of the best things I can have.
My name is Crystal Pedersen and I play Lumiere in Beauty and the Beast. So Lumiere is the main castle object. He's the candle. He's always the one that is telling everyone what to do.
Hi, my name is Sisola Minyambo, and I'm the Beast. The Beast is seen as a very fearless person who happens to fall in love with a girl called Belle.
Hello, my name is Ivina Yostin. I play the character Belle. And Belle is an amazing, fun, kind character. She's super intelligent and she adores her father. He's her favorite person in the whole world. But I can't tell you the whole story. You have to be here in these seats to know what actually happens to Belle. But you really need to be here. It's an amazing play. I would love for you to be here to watch me go through this journey with Belle.
Hi, my name is Kendrick Ifajan, grade 11, TIS. I invite you all to witness me, Gaston, 23rd November at the National Theatre. Don't miss it.
Gosh, it disturbs me to see you, Gaston, looking so down in the dumps.
Visit one of our ticket sales points and make sure you grab your ticket for only 70 Ghana cedis. You'll be here on the 23rd of November at the National Theatre. Help us fill these spaces while we are making a difference in our community. Through the proceeds from this play, we are going to make a difference. There's so much we can do together. Hospitals are waiting for incubators. Children are waiting for life-safe surgeries. And much, much more can be done. But we need your support. Come on board with us. Help Tema International School students to make a difference in their community. See you 23rd November at the National Theatre. Beauty and the Beast, Tema International School is 15.
And TIS says that be our guest.
Be our guest.
And be our guest. Be our guest. Be our guest. Manifest your glory as we come before your presence. Hello everybody, this is Enyonyam. Keep watching Citi TV Breakfast Daily.
Now come dance to the beat. Bend down, shoulder, shoulder. What's up everyone? My name is Miss V. Right now you are watching Breakfast Daily. Don't go anywhere. Tiptoe swag.
Wherever the part today, we step clean. Starting on a head of flex and I use your boy AI. Still bowling. Worldwide with it.
Hello everyone, hello beautiful people. My name is Kodwenchi Dudona Frebe, Mr. Music Man. You're watching Citi TV. Hey.
Okay, welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily right here on Citi TV. And moving away from the TIS and stepping up a few years down the ladder to the secondary side of things, we have GSTS Old Students Association joining us this morning on Breakfast Daily. I've been joined by Stevie Tewayo. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Daily. Good morning. You're the General Secretary of the Old Students Association?
Yes.
Fantastic. And that was the Giants, eh?
Yeah, that's the Giants.
Yes.
Giants of the West, Giants of Africa.
Giants of the West, Giants of Africa.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I've also been joined by Wing Commander retired Kweku Kakrebesi. Is that how?
That's correct.
That's the pronunciation? Fantastic. And I've also been joined, of course, by Nana Samikuyama Boateng. He's the first Vice President of the association. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, now tell us exactly what's going on. I'm seeing you're from the 79-year group.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
No, it cuts across. I'm from
it cuts across. You're 83-year group.
And he is more senior.
You are more senior?
Yes.
Okay, then I think maybe I should start with the retired Wing Commander, who's also the most senior of
the president.
And the president. The national president.
International.
They always forget international. I don't know why.
Very important. Okay, so tell us exactly what's going on with GSCS. Why do we have you here this morning?
Yes, GSCS is 109 years old.
Wow.
It's one of the oldest schools in Ghana.
Yeah.
And in a few days' time, we have our speech day. And the theme, he's going to give you the details about the theme for the speech day.
Your school is almost twice as old as Ghana is.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So we are coming from.
Okay, so let's go through the events for the 109th anniversary of GSTS. The Giants are in charge of this particular celebration. I'll start with the Vice President.
Okay. GSTS is starting a conversation, which is very important. Indeed, most schools should be having this conversation. And they've chosen for the theme this year, holistic education, the role of the stakeholders. And we, as the Giants or the alumni, are very interested in partaking in these discussions, because we feel most schools in Ghana need to, find a pathway forward in which the alumni is key to the development of the school. We have enjoyed some things at the beginning of the schools in its inception.
Yeah.
We find that the children of today are not having those same,
That's true. That's true.
So we want to
be able to double tracking amongst others.
So we want to bring back, that which the school has given us, to be able to lift up GSTS to more than
would that in any way include corporal punishment? Bring it back.
That is, by the way. Not corporal punishment,
but good things.
But more motivation,
fantastic,
more incentive for people to be proud.
Yeah.
And to say, I want to stand like a giant.
I definitely want to stand like a giant. Now, Stevie, tell us, take us day by day, what's going to happen for this particular celebration.
Yeah, okay. On Thursday, there's going to be, it's starting from Thursday to Sunday. On Thursday, there's going to be the walk. First of all, the alumni would come to the school by 5 p.m. They will have an interaction with the students. No, the walk is on Friday instead. So then in the evening, there will be some counseling and all that with the students. And then on Friday morning, there's going to be a route march. GSTS is prized to be the first school to have the cadet corps. And this cadet corps have really excelled itself. So they are going to lead this route march through the principal suite of the secondary Takrady. That would come in, and then in the afternoon, there will be another general interaction, inspection. We used to have inspection in school. When we were in the school, every Friday was a general inspection, and every morning was an inspection. That one, no, we didn't compromise. And that kept the school going. On Friday, we're going to supervise the students to go through that. And then there will be an entertainment in the evening.
Wow.
And then on Saturday morning, which is the day of the speech day, then we'll have the grand speech day itself. And then in the evening on Saturday, there will be an alumni ball, which would want to use as preparations to raise funds. The school's infrastructure is just dilapidating. There hasn't been any major uplifting
so
for the past.
So it will be a form of a fundraiser?
Yes, a fundraiser of a sort. And this is not only to Giants, it's also to our friends and other people from other places. And then on Sunday...
On that day, will come and support?
Yes, sure, you have to come.
Yeah, very much invited.
Yes, and then on Sunday, we would have this service to climax everything, and then that will be it.
Thank you very much.
That's a general overview.
That's a general overview. Yeah. So the fundraising, is it geared towards a particular project?
No, the problems are multifaceted. Yes, the infrastructure itself is down. You know about these bad situations and all that, and motivation for other things and all that. So it's a general fundraising, not to target a particular area. Yes,
but there are many things that need to be done in this school.
Many things that need to be done.
I'll take final comments. Okay, starting from you.
Each year group does a legacy project for the school. Yeah. And also the GA itself, we're also doing projects for the school. So some of this fundraising will go towards some of those projects.
Fantastic.
So that we bring the school a little bit up to date.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I'll take final comments from the international president.
That is it. Yeah, about the street day, you mean?
Yes, and about everything in general with GSTS.
When the new educational system came, most people said it was based on GSTS model of education, secondary technical. But now we've shifted very dramatically from the original path. Now it's all grammar, grammar, grammar. So there's a need to remind us that to be able to go forward, to be able to be rich, we have to produce something. We cannot produce something through technical education. That is a very important thing that we have to emphasize.
Fantastic. I think that's a solid point that government needs to take in serious consideration. And I'll take final comment from you, Stevie.
Yeah, I wish to thank Citi TV for this interview, and also to appeal to everybody, not just GSTS. I mean, GSTS is spread all over, and so we are appealing to everybody to make time to come to this program. Be part of the fundraising efforts.
Wow.
Yeah, as you can see, this
on the screen, 109 speech and prize giving and family day.
Yeah, it's a family day, and the family have multifaceted things. Okay, So that's what we expect to have. A great time together also to network and to bring the fading glory of the school back. It has to reclaim its glory.
I'm looking forward to the ball. The balls. It's just happening Saturday night.
Saturday night, yes, at the Rainbow Hotel.
At Rainbow Hotel.
Yes, Takrady, yeah.
Takrady, definitely. Okay, thank you very much. I was joined by Stevie Taiwayo. He is the General Secretary of the GSESO Students Association. And I was also joined by Nana Sam Ekuamabuate, the first Vice President of the GSES, the Giants. And finally, giant among giants is the International President, Wing Commander Retired Kweku Kakrembesi. Thank you so much for joining me on Breakfast Daily, gentlemen, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Stay tuned to Breakfast Daily. Do not go anywhere.
Manifest your glory as we come before your presence. Hello, everybody. This is Enyanyam. Keep watching Citi TV Breakfast Daily. Now come dance to the beat. Bend down, shoulder, shoulder. What's up, everyone? My name is Miss V. Right now, you are watching Breakfast Daily. Don't go anywhere. Tiptoe swag.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. I've missed you.
Yeah. I missed you more.
I enjoyed your interviews.
Missed you more.
Yeah.
Yes. I loved the alopecia discussion.
Yes. It was so informative. And Ladi is amazing. Yeah.
Very beautiful. I think, you know, the issue about the tattoos on the head, I think they look very beautiful. We saw the images on the screen. Her with the tattoos. She looked very beautiful.
And my big takeaway is that really parents, when our kids complain that they are being bullied in school, let's take it seriously. I myself, I was a victim of bullying, and it was terrible. You know, we say sticks and stones don't break my bones, will break my bones, but words can't hurt me. But words actually do more damage than sticks and stones. So let's pay attention to that. Let's raise kids who are empathetic and compassionate.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. So
about kids who are empathetic and compassionate.
About everything you said.
Okay. But this Friday, you're coming with me to watch Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Amazing viewers, right there. I love
Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and Beauty.
I'll gladly be the beast to your beauty. It's okay.
Oh,
guys,
Beauty and I. Beauty and the Beauty is okay. We have our own Beauty and the Beauty. We take it like that.
We will see you same time tomorrow. Make it a lovely day.